可以更好的反思自己，就可以让我们变得更强。
일단 잘하는 팀들과 만나게 되고 8강을 가는 관문인데 당연히 승리를 바라보고 경기를 보고
主场作战会给我们力量，我们会努力走到最后。我们会2比0的。
제가 할 말은 딱 한마디입니다. 운이 없네요. Being one loss away from getting eliminated, of course, didn't feel good, but I think it's our comfort zone.
For MCOY, the road remains long and the spots are few.
Since our goals and ambitions are to win the whole tournament, I think this is just the beginning.
Trước khi đặt chân tới đây thì tụi em muốn khao khát được chiến thắng nhiều hơn nữa, bởi vì không những mang lại vinh quang cho Việt Nam mà tụi em mang lại vinh quang cho gia đình, bạn bè người thân.
KT just bulldozed their way through everyone on Team Secret Wales. The Wild weren't enough to crush the Mighty Fly.
Tụi em đã không làm tốt trong những ngày qua. Tụi em sẽ chuẩn bị thật tốt để chuẩn bị vào vòng trong.
สวัสดีครับ
Important to reflect, and I think if you focus
มาทำอะไรให้แม่นไง
it's really easy to stay in the present.
Em luôn luôn muốn mình là
วันนี้เป็น
của Việt Nam.
เวียดนาม
Cơ hội để
เจอ EU
Việt Nam sẽ là một khu vực mạnh. Bởi vì tụi em đến đây để chiến thắng.
นั่นไม่ใช่วิกเหรอไม่ใช่ผมจริง
Never had a doubt about my team.
ไปต่อผมมา
Welcome back to Worlds 2025, where ahead of us lies a day of elation or elimination for MCOY and Team Secret Wales. The question is, can MCOY actually be the team that's not from EU here at Worlds 2025? And will Team Secret Wales show us the power they brought on day one with that dominant victory?
พี่จ่ายไม่มาวันนี้ไม่มาครับ
I mean, I'm very excited to see how these two teams are going to face off each other. A lot of early
ใส่
game
แว่นก็เป็นพี่
power
จ่ายแล้ว
across these two squads, and it really does feel like it is going to be fisticuffs from minute one to try and find that lead that can take you to that winning position.
I certainly hope so. I hope we get a lot of action here. You know, these teams very, very high as far as the combined kills per minute
แต่ไม่ใส่ดีกว่า
rankings. So we do expect some early
รอ
action
กว่าวันนี้
as well. We got to see, can the team that even gets the early lead actually finish out the game? Because
นี่ถ้ามี
that
ถ้ามี
remains
เสื้อ
to be
แจ็คเก็ต
seen
นี่
for both of them.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a struggle for these
อยู่
two
ยุค
teams to actually
60เลย
close
นะ
out with those leads. Combined about 1 kill a minute in
พี่
the
ปูเลย
first
นะ
14 minutes of their game so far. We'll see how well they can do as we get ready for the first draft of the day. MCOY taking the stage on the blue side. Team
ยุค
Secret Wales
80นะพี่
on
ปู
the
อะ
red. We're still seeing most of the same draft priority as we've seen at the start of the Worlds. Obviously, now we're moving into Fearless over the last couple of days. We have seen a few things get banned out early and then left up in later drafts.
I do think we're starting to see things like the Trundle rise up a little bit in priority, though, because especially as we start to see like Scion very, very strong in the top lane. All of like the things like Jarvan and stuff that want to try and dive into you. When you can steal away all those stats, it suddenly makes these dive compositions significantly less terrifying.
And that may be one reason that Team Secret Wales have put in Pun, their tank top lane champion. You know, he plays a lot of Scion. He plays a lot of other tanks as well, you know, with a sprinkling of other champions. But really putting in kind of a stable top laner for themselves to see if they can create, you know, some very straightforward team fights, perhaps.
Yeah, and we'll see if things switch up as we go through what could be 3 whole games in this best of 3. For MCOY, I think they will be looking at Mirwin and saying, hey, you're actually really good at some of these eclectic picks. Can you bring out the Varus top? Can you scale up on a Smolder top? Can you bring something out a little bit more unique? Because we know that Pun really does go towards these tank top laners.
It is funny though, because
Ui,
we've
nó
seen
lỏ
kind
lêu
of the
tăng.
two styles of MCOY over the course of the year in this tournament. We got the Yunara draft, which was heavily focused on protect the Supa against KT in their game, but they unfortunately weren't able to pick it up. And instead, they've now fallen back to, which is what Team Secret Wales are prioritizing,
เริ่มไหว
the
มากเลย
Rises, the Talias, the Gallios for Jojo Pyun in the mid lane to try and play that more 1-3-1 style.
I see a lot of stuff up, guys. All right, we've got Orianna, Azir, and Yunara all available and only one more ban. So we're looking at a big trade of power picks.
And the question is, do you ban the Yunara and just
ไอ้ทีมนี้มันโหดนี่หว่าไอ้เวียดนามอะแต่ว่าไม่น่าไหวปะไม่รู้ว่าเฮ้ยอาจจะไหวปะ
I think that might be where they're looking.
Yeah, I'm curious because Yunara is such a strong pick for MKOI, and they've shown they're very comfortable to give Oriana across and play the Galio into it with Jojo Pyun.
ไม่เริ่มไวมาก
หัวให้2,000เราไปซื้อวิปเพิ่มพวกโลให้ตั้งหลายตันมึงมีปัญญาซื้อวิปใส่แค่เซนเดียวเหรอวะ
โอ้โห
We're a little bit struck by the Oriana shockwave, and they're not going to give it
ขอ
across.
สัก300ได้ไหมอะ
MKOI deciding to take away that massive team fight ultimate.
300เดี๋ยวเปลี่ยนทรงผมให้
With BDD on that KT roster, it does mean though Sion and Yunara very easy here for Team Secret Wales if they just want to go down that tier list. Pick the top laner that has the most impact. I would be surprised if Pun went across towards that rumble.
20 ไม่พอดิ
Sion for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's his most played champion. It's the champion of the
อุ๊ยสวัสดี
tournament
เฮีย
so
ด้วย
far. Now,
เฮีย
the
มาเหรอ
problem is, if you don't pick the Trundle with it, then obviously MKOI can just pick Trundle, and Trundle's very, very good in Assign, not only because of the ultimate, but also because of your pillar. And so you do have to think that might be in the works for MKOI.
Yeah, I think you take the Trundle here, you're more than happy with the position that you've ended up in. And now you can also opt in towards something like a Corki here, force Soup in the bottom side, just try and nullify the matchup into the Yunara, and have this still very, very strong team fight off those picks.
And then when you're looking at Merwin as far as his individual champion into sign up on the top side,
เปลี่ยนชื่อเป็นรอยเลิฟ
then
โด
you're
ต้า
thinking
2 เอา
like,
กี่
oh,
บา
is
ท
it the Ambessa Aatrox
ต้อง
angle?
ตั้งรา
Because
คาไปแล้ว
we
2,000
haven't seen a ton of
ชื่อใน
success
เกม
from the champions that have played in Design.
ชื่อ
Obviously,
อะไรก็ได้นะ
Design's win rate is so high, but the Trundle that we were expecting indeed picked up here for
2,000
Elyoya. And so I think it's all really going according to the current
เปลี่ย
meta
น
that
ภา
we've
ษา
seen
ไทย
already
ทั้
at
ง
the
ไลฟ์
moment.
เท่าไหร่
Secret Wales, when they played against KT,
เอาสั
did
ก
look for the
1,000 แล้วกัน
Galio combination to try and punish Cuz on that Trundle early
ภาษา
game.
ไทย
So
ทั้งไลฟ์
there's a possibility here. They pick the Jarvan, they save the Galio for second rotation, and they try and get into MKOI's jungle early on.
ทีหนึ่ง
All
ดู
right,
วัน
no
เดียวกับที
curveballs
100
yet.
มี
Then we
100
also
ที่
get
พี่
the
รอคิด
Ambessa,
ยังไง
you know,
กับ
the
คู่
most
นี้
picked
จะได้ลงถูก
champion
คู่
into it as well. So pretty much as far as game 1 of this series, everything's going straight
คิดยังไง
forward.
เหรอ
Yeah, I do think we're going to get that Jarvan
T1
lock in
ชนะอยู่
here.
แล้ว
Could already see his toes kind of hovering it, but it does mean there's an opportunity here for MKOI to ban away the Galio and make things a little bit more difficult. But if you end up going for the Galio, I think your jungle ends up a bit too pinched for the situation that you're in, and they're not going to take either. Instead, looking towards that Alistair in the support role.
Looking for someone that can be another part of that beefy
เวียดนาม
front
ดับ
line
ดีนะเนี่ย
for
ทำเป็น
Team
เล่น
Secret Wales here. The question is, will they be able to find enough damage outside of just the Yunara? Like, if you start to ban away some of
มี
those
ยู
mid
ดา
lane
ราได้ไง
mages,
อะ
MKOI can try and pinch that pool a little bit. There are still a lot
เฮ้ย
of
ทำไม
options
ยูเขา
though
ปล่อยยู
for
ดาราม
Pun.
าวะ
I think the other thing here now is that because you've got the Alistair, you can start to ban away things like the Rel if you want to, the Leona, the Nautilus, and just say, hey, look, we're going to make Alvaro a little bit uncomfortable in that bottom side of the map. And also by removing that engage tools, it means that this Ambessa is kind of just
หรือเขาจะเอาคอกีบสวน
diving in onto the back line with the public execution, which does make things significantly easier for Team Secret Wales to just deal with that singular threat.
I like the Nico ban because yeah, you're banning one of the engaged champs that's also
the
could be problematic in
Corki,
lane
wow.
and provide a strong duo lane for them. Of course, when you've got the Alistair as well, don't want to have to worry about Poppy W's. Same thing for Yunara. So Poppy, we've seen a lot of value from Poppy picks so far this tournament. Definitely finding this one here as well.
I actually think Poppy on either side would be quite nice here. Like, if I'm Team Secret Wales, I'm looking at Poppy. It's Ambessa can't get onto the back line. If MKOI look for follow-up engage like the Rakan, he can't get onto the back
คน
line.
จีน
And you can always flex him
คน
into
จีน
that
เยอะ
jungle
นะ
role with you already having your support and your top lane locked in. It's Wukong as the final ban from MKOI. First time we've seen that fall this far down in the draft for a while. But Team Secret Wales obviously not prioritizing it early here.
So I was gonna say, are we gonna get the
กดไปแล้ว
Jarvan curse with the Scion blessing? And see which one is stronger. It looks
Jarvan
like
is 3-0 in his last 3 games.
Yeah,
he is
but-
swip swapped away from the
But
curse.
โอ้
two
ดับ
of
ดีนะ
those
เนี่ยเวียด
teams
นาม
that
อะ
won with it are eliminated already.
okay,
Fnatic
Jarvan
and
4
PSG
villain น้อย
both
นี่
got eliminated after winning with Jarvan.
Okay, Team Secret
I
Wales,
don't
you can
know if
win
that's
this game. After that, we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's the
Corki.
Jarvan locked in. MKOI looking for a little
Lucian
bit more
เหรอ
disengage, some CC
Corki ไปไหนอะ
protection with this brawl.
Yeah, the thing is though, it's like Sion into the Trundle again. Like, I think this opens up so many opportunities to even take traditional AD carries that you wouldn't have to go for, like the Ezreal that wouldn't
Oh,
traditionally
Lucian
get
ว่ะ
through a Sion, but because you're stealing all those
Lucian
stats,
บรอมแน่
now
เลย
you're actually fine to go for that pick because that Sion is significantly less tankier and it offers
หรื
you
อ
a
เว
bunch
น
of safety into things like the
ไอ้
Jarvan.
นี่ไอ้นี่
Plus,
ติด
Simple
เล่น
has
เว
been
นด้วย
fantastic Ezreal when he's been able to play it,
Corki.
but it looks like it is going to be the Corki, the lane neutralizer instead.
Yeah, you don't want Jarvan to have too many immobile carries to go after, so they get the extra dash here with the Corki, and His toe is probably going to be looking towards Oriana to try and pressure Bonus Flash as much
บอ
as
สตายตอนไหนบอกด้วย
possible.
จะไปยึดศพบอสตอนกำลังงงๆว่าใจดีขอแค่นี้กันได้ไหมจะไม่ทำศพเลยครับ
into the mid lane, into the Oriana that they gave over. We were suspecting the Galio. You know, it is his most played, was his most played for summer. They are going to lock it in.
โอ้ให้
And
ศพ
that
ผ
is
ม
going
อยู่
to
เฉ
put
ยๆไม่ได้หร
a
อก
lot
ผ
of
มเป็นศพ
pressure
อะ
on Eddie to be the carry. That is the damage source. This is 4 beef balls and Yunara.
ผมว่าขวามันดาเมจน้อยไปว่ะซ้ายเล่นง่ายกว่าผมว่ากาลิโอแม่งไม่ตอบโจทย์นะทิกนี้ไม่ควรหยิบนะกาลิโอไม่ตอบโจทย์ครับแพ้ทันโดแพ้บอมแพ้แอมเบซ่าเอ็มก่อยชนะแน่นอนง่ายเลยเกมนี้ผมว่ามันแทงเยอะไปเว้ยกาลิโอไม่ควรหยิบอะ
Yeah, and I think that's where it's going to be trying to find flanks, trying to use the terrain creation that you have on MKOI to force Team Secret Wales into uncomfortable spots that opens up for Mirren in those
ก่อยแน่นอน
chances.
อ่ะ
And
เสี
the
ยดาย
second
พิก
the
สุด
best
ท้าย
action
นะ
locks you up, that's when you can just
น่า
command
หยิบ
protect
ตัว
and
ดี
get
กว่า
that
นี้หน่อย
quick
นึง
shockwave. So definitely you can find Eddie in these fights.
คือกะให้ยูนาราตีคนเดียวเลยแต่มันไม่พอ
But
เลย
again, I am kind of nervous for them on just that early skirmish power that is coming out from Team Secret Wales. This Jarvan Galio combo on invades post level 6 is so devastating for this Trundle if you don't have flash.
ขออนุญาตตามพี่บอสเอ็มก่อยครับเกมนี้ง่ายๆหลับตายังทายถูก
trying to carry themselves through to that 2-2 spot for MKOI, looking for redemption against the LCP and at Worlds. Like, Mad Lions at Worlds was a meme for a very long time in the European region, and over the last 3 series, MKOI or Mad Lions KOI have played up against the LCP. They have been on the losing side.
Yeah, a lot here on the Team Secret Wales shoulders. Not only are they a representative of the LCP, but they're an entirely Vietnamese team, and Vietnam has such a huge fan base for League of Legends, a huge player base. And this team being the youngest team at the entire tournament, there is a lot of pressure on their shoulders.
And does oftentimes represent that new hope for Vietnam, especially as you see guys like Hiaya and Levi who have been around for quite a while, and on GAM that has been the team that tends to represent Vietnam at a lot of these internationals. It's now this new blood that is coming in.
วันนี้จะได้ชนแก้วไหม
to get here.
วันนี้มันง่ายดิ
So exciting for so many
มันมีแต่
Vietnamese
ทีม
fans.
ขาดๆอ่ะ
The new blood with the old heads. Taki, the only player on this team that has been to Worlds before, all the way back in 2022.
ผมว่าเอ็มก่อนมันน่าจะชนะนะ
Beat him in play-ins to have a face-off against
เดี๋ยวดูก่อนอะ
Geniuses,
ว่าเวียดนามมันจะเดือดแค่ไหน
him to make
เผื่อ
it
ลุ้น
into the main stage. It's a long time ago that we saw Jojo and Taki back on this world stage, and here they are facing off in an elimination series again.
พอรู้ว่าผมใส่แว่นหรือไม่ใส่แว่นดีกว่า
Jojo joining forces now with Elyoya and to
บ้านไหน
great
ขึงกว่า
effect, and that is one of the combinations that we will be looking at pretty heavily in this game. You just saw the ages pop up there. If you're looking at the jungle and mid lane matchup, as we actually see bottom lane with a decent trade there. But the jungle mid lane matchup, you know, those are the 2 youngest players at the tournament.
บ้านไหนขึงกว่าครับ
Secret Wells going against
ใส่แว่นหรือไม่ใส่แว่น
Jojo. So we'll see if the Jarvan can put the expected pressure on Oriana. You know, we're expecting from draft Jarvan and Galio, very CC heavy combinations. And Jojo has always been one of our strongest laners in the West. Even when he was in the LCS, he plays very aggressively. He tries to trade on you whenever you go for CS. And in Oriana versus Galio matchup, you're always trying to put a lot of pressure, go for health trades, and try and push them out.
Yeah, try to use that clockwork wind-up passive as well, getting the consecutive auto attacks on a single target, doing more damage for each auto attack. So he's stepping past the wave, using Command Protect to eat the winds of war and not actually have his health bar be lowered. Both the junglers passing down towards the bottom side. He's still here already on his blue.
ถึงเลนไหมเหรอเกมนี้เหรอผมว่าถึงนะ
away from his red.
ถึงเลนนะครับเกมนี้
In the bottom lane as well, with Alvaro using that heal earlier on.
I do think Histo has to be a little bit careful pre-level 6 though, because if you end up jumping in onto with the flaggy drag to the Trundle, it then opens up very quickly for Elyoya to turn a bunch of damage back around, have that Trundle pillar to just make your life
ภาคไทยจ่ายเท่าไหร่
escape.
ถ้าเปลี่ยนเกมเดียว
Because you tend to have the Cataclysm and the Galio to follow, which is why MKOI now trying to go
แต่
for
คน
these
ชอบผมไม่ค่อยชอบภาคไทย
control down for Elyoya, so it can enable the favorable matchup in the early stages.
ไม่รู้ทำไมคนช่องผมไม่ชอบภาคไทยเลย
This is a little bit of a drive-by. Autos one of the minions. Elioya leaving the bot side Scuttlecrab to go and try and fight towards the top side. Alvaro trading in here with the Unbreakable. There's the stun onto Taki. Taki pops the heal afterwards though, and Super's down to half HP. Concussive blows almost procced as Histo dives in. Elioya looking for the trade onto him. Chomp, chomp, chomp goes the Trundle. Dyer stepping forward down to 200. Gets the taunt, but gets smacked across the head with a club. Histo almost escapes, but the red's enough for Elioya. A double for the troll.
Oh, Elioya, that pillar was beautiful. He pillared the Justice Punch there, completely stopped Dyer's Galio, and then just wins the 2v2. That, okay, Trundle doesn't have like crazy mechanics, but that was really good Trundle play right there.
He does have one mechanic that's going well. Taki the bottom side now.
Punch away the Gatling gun though, hitting him in the bush, and Super gets the third on the board for MKOI.
It's going off for MKOI across the map. 2 kills onto this Trundle in the early stages, and now the kill for Super in this bottom lane. Team Secret Wales are not enjoying the start of this.
แกมมาสู้ต่างประเทศโหด
Chomp. Elioya will be fed, and that spells danger. He has gone all
วัน
of
นี้
the
ฮาซัน
offensive
ภาค
components early of the Trinity Force.
วันนี้ฮาซันภาคเหรอ
And honestly, it started out with a good timing for Team Secret Wells. You
โอ้
know,
กาลิ
they
โอยังคอ
saw
มโบไม่เป็นเลย
Elioya on the war.
ต้อง
They
E เฉยๆแล้วแบบแฟลต W อ่ะ
on the bottom side.
ถ้าจะเอาชัวร์
But then they stick around
ไม่
and
ใช่
they're
แฟลต
on
และ
vision
E
as well. So Elioya takes this fight. He likes
แฟล
it.
ตและ E ฝั่งก็
Starts
แฟล
out
ต
with
ดิ
the chomp fight with Jarvan. He knows Galio is going to come over and try and combine with the fight, and so he times his pillar perfectly, expecting the play, and then just completely brutalizes them, even gets off the last bit of damage.
I think for Team Secret
บอส
Wales,
ช่วยด้วยผมโดนแม่จับได้ว่าสูบบุหรี่ตอนนี้ไม่กล้ากลับบ้าน
It's basically a 2v1
ก็
for
สูบ
us,
อย่างเงี้ยแล้วพ่นใส่แม่เลย
but Trundle often wins those.
Yeah, Trundle likes those odds.
And also just clockwork wind-up
ใส่แม่
does do so much damage. So despite the
ตึงๆไปเลย
actual mana left, she was fine to just go for the play. And now MKOI in a fantastic position, especially as Elioya has been accelerated. He's now in a position that every time Histo tries to go for plays, like he might be looking for on that bottom side of the map, that's where again you can have Elioya match and constantly win out, and it just makes this game really uncomfortable now for Histo.
Yeah. When Trundle gets ahead and the opponent team is 4 melees, then you are in trouble. Trundle can really thrive against a lot of these beef balls. So.
At least he doesn't have something like a Scion in the top lane to steal all those really tanky stats to make him really survive.
ที่ช่องบอลไม่ชอบภาคไทยเพราะคนช่องบอลฟังอังกฤษไม่ออกไงเลยไม่ค่อยบ่นกัน
โอ้มันก็แบบว่าเหมือนนอนฟังเพลินๆใช่ไหมแต่คนช่องผมไม่ชอบฟังภาคไทยมากเลยไม่รู้ทำไม
Not able to get into the driver's seat right now as MKOI
เดี๋ยวน้องมันเชื่อแล้วไปทำตามบอสจะแย่โอ้โหก็ให้ธรรมชาติคัดสรรเลยครับถ้ามันเชื่อ
Hero's entrance onto the back line. Elioya doesn't have flash and he's alone in the back of the pit.
Ui,
The exhaust on Dyer is enough
GG
though. Shockwave coming out is going to catch up to Taki. Elioya already down as they look for a bit more of a trade, but Alvaro is now stuck by himself in the pit. Another slurkle, a flash from Eddie. It's going to be 2 for the Wales.
The best part about Team Secret Wales, they do not sit on losses. They will fight their way out, and they're still fighting.
Super in the shop instead of watching his screen as Histo collapses on him, stops his reset, but Super underneath the tower here should be able to go away. Histo looking for the dragon drag. He gets him, he gets the shield, and he gets out. Beautiful from Team Secret Wales.
That was so well played by Histo, knowing he had the damage. Super not respecting it, and Histo hits level 6 off of it as well. So even if Jojo tried to help him, he might be giving him away out with the Cataclysm.
And he got a quick recall off there. He didn't go into the vision of the ward that was behind red buff. So he even gets out in a pretty timely manner. See, never give up on the plays. Really good contest there from TSW, even though they're going to lose the dragon, still contesting afterwards to chase down the kills.
In the Vietnamese community, in the LCP community, there is a saying about Team Secret Wales. I'll tell you after this fight.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the overextension coming through from MKOI. They get the dragon, and they think, okay, we can try and take the fight, but because you get the Galio sent to the backline, Elioya is completely separated from the rest of the team. Taki and Histo were able to shove Super away, who actually ends up CC for quite a while in the middle of this fight, and it's Eddie who's just fine on that backline to deal with Elioya, flashes over for Alvaro, and sets up perfectly now where he's got some of the kills that were necessary for this composition to work.
And this from Histo as well, just chasing afterwards. As soon as you see Super go round this corner, you're kind of like, okay, he's Valkyrie'd out, he's out.
คืออะไรวะ
Histo so willing to go for more of the fight, even without his Cataclysm.
Yeah, ward's over, gets a confirmation of the vision, EQs in, nobody punishes, and looks like he gets out of grubs as well with 2 of them in tow, so they get the objective credit. In addition, they were the first ones to the MKOI was actually the first ones to the first 3 kills, so they have that feat's credit.
That they do. We'll be fighting over the next couple of
บอส
objectives.
วันนี้กูลืมอาบน้ำไปโรงเรียนเพื่อนถามใครเอาอาหารบูดมากูตบปากมันเลือดออกบอสว่าผมสุดปะสุดอยู่นะ
As Taki flashes in, immediately engage. Histo is coming around the corner, looking for the follow-up. Super locked up. There's the Cataclysm. Lock him in the cage. It's 1-2. Alvaro has no escape. And Eddie is shredding MKOI.
Taki and Histo finding the combo they need to lock down Super and Alvaro. And what started off so well for MKOI has already started to slip completely out of their grasp.
If you are playing a 1-threat comp, you want the kills on that 1-threat. Eddie here does have the Kraken Slayer completed now on the Yunar after that second kill. Histo also is going to be a threat though. The Jarvan's getting a lot of these kills and did get one of the earlier shutdowns.
ทำไมมันฆ่าเสร็จมันไม่ตีเพจวะมาดูผมงงว่ะ
Super immediately flashes forward, gets the pulverize into the head push.
เว้ยไอ้วัวนี่เดือดนะเปิดไฟสวยทุกไฟเลย
It's just too late. Histo's like, I'm in. I'm Superman. I'm taking down the plane.
And we promised action between these 2 teams, and we are definitely getting it. Almost a kill a minute so far in this early game. Taki level 6, Alvaro not yet across towards that ultimate mark. Super and Alvaro have to be a little bit cautious because this
ไหนซ้ายมาแน่ซ้ายชนะอยู่ดีคนดู
He's been a
อย่า
little
โลก
bit involved, but mostly all's been quiet in this mid lane, and because of that, he's built up a 30 CS lead. But the lead is not as great as Eddie's over Super. That's a 1,000
เวลา
gold
เวียด
lead
นาม
in
พลาด
the
มุม
bot
ก็
lane.
ดีใจให้ดูหน่อยเดี๋ยวนักลงทุนไม่เชื่อมั่นว่ามุมให้เอ็มก่อย
That you so often pick up on the Yunara because of the synergies is going to end up popping, which is only going to snowball him as well. It becomes
บอสให้ใครเอ็มก่อยครับชิวๆเลยครับเอ็มก่อย
the wave states as you can see, and this means you're going to start to put pressure on towards her plates and these observers. I think Histo's here.
Histo going in with a flag and drag once again. Glacier Fisher out from Alvaro, stands beside his teammate while the public execution goes down to the top side. Alvaro's going to follow. Mirwin looking for damage onto Pun because Alioya's in the area. Does have that subjugate. They're waiting for the wave to crash in. Super has to back away from the bot side. Meanwhile, on the top side, MKOI decide they're not going to go for the dive. So for Team Secret Wales, a great exchange.
Huge stuff from Histo this game. You know, after the failure in the 2v2 mid, thought it was going to be very difficult for him to get back into this game, but constant fighting and chasing down the kills, Jarvan is truly
แต่ว่ามันได้ทั้ง120 นาทีแค่2 ที
early lead that Elioya built up.
But that's the thing. It feels like when it comes to Team Secret Wales, they never give up. They will always
บอส
keep
วางแผน
chasing.
จะไปเที่ยวกี่วัน
And that's the saying that they know.
ก็3 วันนะ
In the Vietnamese community is how we win. I'm not going to say it in Vietnamese because my pronunciation would be awful, but the idea is Team Secret Wales can be 10,000 gold behind and somehow still find a win, and they can be 10,000 gold ahead and somehow still find a loss, as Pun is caught out here with the shockwave, should be able to walk away from Jojo Pun. No real follow-up from the rest of the team. A command attack won't be enough even with that clockwork wind-up auto attack, and Pun just walks it out.
Also, even though Jarvan has been the target of a lot of scrutiny at this World Championship, Histo was one of the successful ones. Even though they lost to KT, he still had some very good Jarvan plays in that game, and certainly has had some in this game. So Dragon will be collected for their side with their margin of gold lead, but we'll see about the payment on the other side because MKOI want to dive.
Yeah, they're going to go underneath the tower here.
Dragon exchanged for it for Team Secret Wales. Flashing away there. Elioya, you pop the subjugate, you get a couple of plates. Happy enough with that. They were trying to find something on the other side of the map, knowing that Team Secret Wales had their jungler down towards the bottom side. They went here trying to steal away his bugs, but really more of a nuisance to Histo than anything else.
I mean, you're going to be delighted with that as Team Secret Wales. You managed to steal away a little bit of the camps. You don't end up with your top laner getting dove, and you're getting to zone Mirwin off of this bot lane turret. And coming back to what Kobe was saying yesterday on the desk, like, these are the kind of styles where Jarvan can succeed because you've got an immobile Orianna on the other side that you can look to focus down, because you've got that added pressure from the Galio that can come over the top. This is where this game, sure, you've got great scaling.
But he's just going in, pops the ultimate, and Super's dead!
ทำไมซูเปอร์มันดูมึนๆจังอะวันนี้
When will people learn you can't approach Yunara? As soon as she gets the Kraken Slayer, she is so strong, and they are not
scared of popping that ultimate to chase you down.
Yeah, respect to the Q charge up there. I mean, he just absolutely destroys him. Supa
มัน
as
เหมือนล้ม
well.
มวยเลย
Blowing the
ไอ้ซูป้า
flash on top of it. Going down is one thing, but going down and losing the summoner spell, you mentioned it, they could target Orianna. Now there's no flash on the Corki, so all you really have is the Valk, and Jarvan plus Galio plus Alistar, they will be coming for your head.
Plus Sion, he's looking for the chase as well.
บอสทนายให้เอ็มก่อยครับ
Really tricky for Super to survive a next team fight. The good thing for him is there's still a minute before the Rift Herald, and
แต่เขากี่
Emkoi
คนมึน
could
อะ
decide to give that up if they wanted. After that, the next neutral objective is that Cloud Drake coming up in 3 minutes time.
So I also have noticed in some moments, Eddie does have pretty strong hubris. Like, he is one of the 80 carries that when he's feeling it, he is really feeling it. And we did have the one play, you know, where he hits Kaisa W and he's like, well, I don't have vision of everybody else, but I'll still go in. So he has to be a little bit careful because he is the entire team's damage, basically. Yes, especially in the early game, you know, there's a lot of base damages on all the other meatballs and stuff, but he has to be more
TSW แม่ง
careful with this lead that
ทา
he
มิ่ง
does
ตอนนี้
have.
ชนะแล้วเนี่ย
100% agree, but I think
2 ชิ้นไปแล้วอะ ADC อะ
like Jojo going
โอ้
to
ยเทม
bring
หลุดโลก
defense
จัด
build with the Rod of Ages, so not going to be that big explosive damage that you get from something like the Hextech Gunblade.
แล้ว
He's
มี
more
ไซออน
going to worry
ถึก
about like Mirwin having access to the back line, and in theory, as long as Taki has that exhaust ready on the unsealed Alpha, should be able to
ก็
survive.
เหมือนทีมบอสไงเห็นใคร
Yeah,
มีทรง
and
เก่ง
in
ก็
this
ซื้อตัว
type of
ทำทีมเขา
game,
แตก
when you are playing with 4 peelers,
ใช่
you gotta trust your
มัน
team.
เป็นเทค
And
นิค
he
ครับ
has to trust in his team. Hey,
ใคร
I'm
เก่ง
gonna
ก็
go
ซื้อมาดอง
full offensive. You guys, it's on you guys
จะได้
to
ไม่ต้องมี
deal
คู่
for
แข่
me.
ง
It's on you guys to keep me
Trust
up.
fall.
Yeah. Plus, if my AD carry is that far ahead, I kind of want him to go for some you know,
BKT
crazy
เนี่ย
offensive stuff.
Step up,
BKT
Ian. Look for
สไตล์
the fights wherever you can. Pillar down here by Elioyo as Daya uses that taunt just to walk his way away. The good thing for Eddie as well is there's minimal engage on Mkoi, right? If you're surviving through the public execution, there's no follow-up really after that. You have a Braum jumping in, maybe a Shockwave, but you guys already talked about how low damage this Orianna is in the early game. Herald started by Mkoi. Histo walks across from the side. Herald down to about 5,000. Taki gets a knock-up on both. Alvaro jumped on Super trying to get away, but he's dead where he stands. Alvaro in that redemption. Herald still the target. Elioyo will smite it and secure it. Now needs to get out of the back of the pit. Does have the flash, but he's knocked up. Will flash into the tribush. Histo still on the chase with Eddie diving in. It's another, but Eddie as Mkoi are rattled.
Histo and Eddie are just the Bash brothers in this game, destroying Mkoi. I mean, yeah, they lost the Rift Herald, but they're going to chase down even more kills.
Dive in, Histo with the flag and drag. Alvaro able to stand beside his teammate. Taki goes in with the knockup on breaking down as well. They still have the shockwave, but Eddie finds another. Jojo dies where he stands, gets one in response, but Team Secret Wales are ruling the Rift.
Taki with the honorable death there sets up Team Secret Wales for more kills for the tower. And this game started off with Mkoi 3-0, and Team Secret Wales are completely blowing through them.
Put some respect on Vietnam. Let's take a look at this one. Again, the bottom of your screen, Histo and Eddie absolutely demolish them. In goes Taki sets it up, and Supa just gets annihilated. Nowhere for him to go. Even got exhausted. The Galio ultimate was just even unnecessary. By that time, they had already destroyed him, but they can continue the steamroll.
เล่นอย่างแปลกอะ ADC อะปกติเป็นโหดไม่ใช่เหรอซูเปอร์
clean on the back of this flashing over to finish off the kills. And again now, this Yunara is massive. 5-0-5, already 2 items deep. Like, this is going to be so difficult for Mkoi to try and deal with.
I will say, we'll keep track if the flash, you know, on Yunara does get punished, not having that one for later. But honestly, I like it. Go with the hype. Continue to push for these extra kills and snowball the lead. They're even going to get some outer towers in trade. Dragon as well should be picked up. I'm thinking that Pun is going to be able to defend this for a while on the top side, but all the rest of Mkoi can go make the cross play, and especially as Trundle's coming over, they will shred through him.
แปลกมากเลย
beat Supa up here, and he's on the way, so I think maybe this could be it for Pun. TP though.
Shockwave to save the way from the decimating smash. TP coming out, Pun flashing underneath the tower, and will be bolstered by the defenses of Dire.
Nice, you know, crop mat defense here from Team Secret Wales. They're still going to get the dragon, but invest the teleport here to keep the tower alive for now.
Going back in here with the taunt. The chase continues for Alvaro and Jojo.
เหมือนเวียดนามจะชนะว่ะเกมนี้
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Super is surrounded by Taki and Eddie.
ฝั่งซ้ายไม่มีตัวเปิดด้วย
On this blue buff, Taki with a headbutt pulverize once again. Eddie puts the damage down. Won't have enough to work his way through his trundle quite yet. The Super looks for a bit of a collapse. With Histo moving across, it will be dangerous for him to take this fight.
Yeah, you don't even have to get a kill. It's just about pushing MKOI back right now. You push top side, you have the potential here to shift over towards mid lane if you want to. Histo stole the Raptor camp.
โดดลงเลยไหมกับตาลโดดลงเรือเลยครับ
Team Secret Wales are dictating everything on this map right now.
And their timers are going to be pretty straightforward. This team is all about, going for the objectives, trying to draw you to them. This team is built to siege, straight up siege, so they want to draw out to these fights where they can make use of their heavy engage and create that space for Eddie to win these team fights. So the dragon stacking is imperative that they keep it up for Team Secret Wales in order to find that path to victory.
MKOI reeling through this early game.
ทีเอ็มเปิดระวังเป็นงานปล่อย
1,000 gold behind, and the majority of that sits on Eddie's shoulders. 2 items already complete. Has the upgraded plated steel caps as well, just from those feats of strength. And for MKOI, you're looking at it. You have a Rod of Ages at 7 stacks. You've got 2 Triforces, but no one really has a second item yet, apart from Jojo with that Horizon focus. Histo waiting to see if someone comes to cover this top side. Won't find anyone for the moment.
You really do need from MKOI's side, like a big ultimate from Mirren followed by Jojo Pion to hopefully pick off Eddie, but Team Secret Wales aren't giving them a chance again. They're invading on this top side, just keeping MKOI back underneath their own towers and allowing them this swift movement through this top side jungle. I'd love to see Team Secret Wales try and shift that pressure in towards a mid lane tower take or trying to zone MKOI away from it, but it is difficult at the moment with that Cloud Soul being able to allow MKOI to shift just as quickly back and forth.
Taki caught out as the rest of his team backs. He's going to pop that original win, goes in with a headbutt. Eddie trying to come in from the side as well. Super needs that redemption. Cataclysm flashed away from as the hero's entrance comes down. Mirwin flashing away from his own TP. Pun now on the front line. Jumps straight into Alvaro, who's trying to protect his Ambessa. The concussive blow. 3. Jojo trying to turn Team Secret Wales into poutine. But he can't quite do it. Pun falls to the Jojo now as Super walks underneath his tower and does manage to get away. Meanwhile on the top side, Arakan, MKOI's next prize.
MKOI finally found the fight that they needed. The fact that Alvaro ends up jumping over the wall back into the Ambessa and Histo swaps places means that they're able to find the fight they need, at least get something back for themselves.
The Arakan call slightly hasty from Meat with the jungler still alive. Histo staying around Mirwin. Trying to walk through the darkness here. Make sure those recalls go off before he comes out. Mirwin might know, but doesn't quite get the auto attack down in time. Eddie escapes.
It's going to be interesting too because
ยังไม่พีคครับยังไม่พีคตะเกียบถ้าฆ่าได้หมดเลยพีค
critically they also got both summoner spells off the Yunara. So look at the re-engage here.
โอ้ดีรูปสวยว่ะโอ้ลบ 4
unbreakable up and gets the heal off. Here goes Ambessa ultimate over the top after they had already taken down the front line.
And crucially, as you say, Eddie getting that flash hit that he's able to escape away, but MKOI more than happy to find that fight. And again, it was just that overextension being punished from Team Secret Wales.
And we're going to start to see Jojo really carry some weight here. That Orianna Shockwave already doing some heavy lifting. He has the Horizon focus done plus the Blighting Jewel, so creating some of the magic penetration. And the Rod of Ages has fully stacked, so the full value is here with the extra level. And he's really into that Orianna power that everyone knows and respects at the current world championship. This champion is early picked for a reason.
ผมว่าแวลูมันประมาณได้ 2 กรอ่ะ
but has been able to get a nice little gold lead for himself when it comes to the CS. Is in a good spot. Like 2 items now complete on the Ambessa. If you can find that combo to lock down Eddie and working conjunction with Jojo, I think you still have a chance here as MKOI. But as you can see, like that was on an overextension. Eddie is still in a very good spot to carry, and if you can slow the pace of this game down until Eddie gets those summoner spells back up, you're in a decent spot for Team
Secret.
Another interesting consequence of the team comp that TSW are running is that MKOI feel confident to have Jojo split pushing. So Jojo has really kept up his CS numbers. Yeah, he did have a pretty easy early lane into a Galio, but he's also kept up, his 10 CS per minute with this Orianna, which is critical and leading to this large gold lead he does have now on top of those kills, really making that big threat.
especially if you can lane into Pun on this Scion. He's got basically no magic. It's just the Aegis sitting there, no Merc Treads as Mirwin's engaged on Redemption coming out. Mirwin looking for the fight here onto his toe. Taki going in with the headbutt pole, rising there, the TP follow-up. Mirwin was isolated from the rest of his team. Team Secret Whales turn their attentions towards the top side. Exhaust down onto Dire, ball put in the middle of them, but no shockwave cord as of yet. Another Winter's Bite coming out from Alvaro just for the slow. MKOI want to fight this, but Taki's in prime position for this flank. Jojo will be able to spot him out with Elyoya. Taki goes in, but the rest of his team not on the same page. And Alistair ticking down the missile just short of catching it. It's backside. Now the target stunned up with those concussive blows. Shockwave finds Eddie. Hero's entrance coming down for the magic damage shield. Chase continues. Jojo's going to kill off Pun, but he's going to use the zombie force to get everyone else away from Elyoya. Elyoya falls. It's a great fight for Team Secret Wales.
Team Secret Wales are using the terrain so well in this fight, kiting back into that
ธนาคารทำให้บัฟมังแรงด้วยป่ะนั่นมันแพทก่อนป่ะ ปัจจุบันไม่หรอกนั้นโกงเกิน
Yeah, zombie form value there as well. You know, this is one of the huge benefits of this champion. Pun creating so much space. And one of the unseen things with Jarvan as well, people often forget about the Q shredding armor. That plus the Black Cleaver, they're able to just melt through Elyoya. So we take another look. Taki goes in, gets chunked out, and even with the late Alistar ultimate there, he still survives running away from it. Then Pun on the front line, it's kind of the sacrifice with the Scion there, but it's okay because of the champion and the Galio. See on the top side, Elyoya is getting shredded as Histo is able to shred the armor there, and the Yunara does take him down, but the zombie form kind of pushing all the rest of MKOI back.
But you can see in the start of these engagements how dangerous that Team Secret Wales bounce.
ใส่แว่นได้ไหมไม่อยากเห็นสายตาได้ครับใส่แว่นเท่กว่าใช่ไหม
So careful on MKOI's side as to who is actually going to face check a lot of these brushes, because you don't actually have someone that's particularly tanky. Like your Braum has a redemption. Sure, he can throw up the shield, but he will get taken down. I think that's what Team Secret Wales are playing very well around, is looking for members of MKOI as they enter into the dark zones.
CSW now one Drake away from Soul to take another cloud.
อาตาคารช่วยอะไรเหรอครับทำไมเขาถึงแย่งกันเอาจัง
มันได้เลเวลกับ Adaptive Force ครับตอนนี้ Adaptive Force คือแบบดาเมจอะ
MKOI up towards this top side. Redemption coming out. Mirwin looking for a flank of his own. Eddie has his flash though, so it's going to be very difficult to get onto him. Unstoppable Onslaught used. Albo with the Glacial Vision. There's the uppercut secured by Histo. Pun still on that front line, and MKOI all grouped up with the Cataclysm. And here comes your hero. Dire dives in, lands the taunt, and MKOI are shredded. Mirwin on the back line, but Team Secret Wales run him like piranhas to get a couple more as the fight continues. Team Secret Wales able to back away with the Otacon. It ends up being a one-for-one exchange. Just the support.
ถามสาระวิกหรือผมจริงครับ
much more deadly for Team Secret Wales.
Honestly, it looked like a bit of an early redemption from Alvaro. Maybe panic stations from MKOI as they try to find the fight with Team Secret Wales. It's dire stock for them in this one because that Galio is making it tough for them.
And Team Secret Wales, they make the call. Okay, we're going to create space to push them off Otacon so that Histo can get the objective first. Then we Scion ultimate in to create that space, push the 4 members of MKOI back, including Elyoya. Histo then burns the Otacon. They get the double knockup on this group, and then watch Histo flash ulti into flag and drag out to try and keep them in the Galio ultimate. But even with that, the shockwave there from Jojo does peel for the team, and Merwin on the Ambessa able to flash his way out to keep the casualties.
ดึงให้ดูก่อนได้ครับเฮีย
as you said.
And I love Eddie's position in that fight as well. Consistently staying on the top
Đừng
left
biết
part
ổn
of the fight because he knows Mirren is on the bottom right, trying to keep away from that potential of the public execution. Maybe Jojo Pyun's ultimate can come in, but Team Secret Wales are playing so well around these multiple threats in the MKOI lineup.
And guess what? You know, even though they survived, now Jojo no flash on the Orianna, so Histo can go for another play onto this Orianna. Galio plus Jarvan, incredibly threatening. And this Yunara, if the Yunara goes untouched, this is full crit Yunara looking at the big DPS scaling here for this champion through the clumped team fights.
Yeah, that Infinity Edge now complete is in such a strong position.
ให้กูไปดึงให้มาดิ
a Trinity Force and a couple of swords to his
ต้องบินมา
Pun here stepping in, keeping Elyoya
เราอยู่กันคนละโลก
straight up in 2 minutes time, so still a while.
มึงคิดว่ากูโง่เหรอโอ้โหโอ้เฮียไม่เชื่อเหรอเนี่ย
Still this mid lane turret stands though, and MKOI going to be kind of using that as that bastion to pivot off of for a lot of these plays. Like it lets them play very far up to keep tabs on Baron, to keep tabs on the Dragon that you were talking about in 2 minutes time. And I think that's kind of where we see what has been some of the fall points of Team Secret Wales, the ability to close out a game, to push that game forward. And yes, they have a lead, and yes, that Dragon is going to be a big focal point for them. But I'm curious, can they find a way to close this game out clean?
Yeah, I think the mid game is really, really critical especially for this team comp, because they have some big power spikes coming up with Guardian Angel. If you can get Guardian Angel on Jarvan,
จังหวะนี้น่าเล่นที่สุดแล้วอยู่นะละ3 ชิ้นก่อนเพื่อน
Cloud Soul
เนี่ยถ้าเป็นผมคอเปิดแล้ว
These are the points that Secret Wales really need to nail right now coming up to hammer this game home.
And on the flip side, if you give the chance for JoJo
ถ้าเป็นผมเป็น AD ตอนนี้คือคอแล้วอะว่าแบบต้องฟอสละเอาไซออนมาแทงบาลอนแล้วก็ไซออนโฟเปิดเลย
So I think that's where Team Secret Wales kind of need to keep the ball rolling in their favor.
เพราะว่าถ้าฟาร์มไปอ่ะรอคอกี่ของเท่าจะแพ้
Damage onto Eddie, he turns it back onto Super. Valkyrie's in a Yoya trading with Histo towards the top side, but it's a Randuin's Trinity Force Trundle, and that's not going to do too much work. Just tries to keep Histo at bay. 40 seconds before that Cloud Drake. Team Secret Wales just using their pressure to push in this mid wave. Obviously, they want the tower, and they should be able to get it with super low. TSW push in and will crack through that mid tier 1.
All right, the moment of truth approaches. 25 seconds, and they're going
ถ้าเป็นมือก็ตกรอบแรก
This means that Team Secret Wales will be a little bit slow to get to the actual Dragon fight. Allows Mkoy some early movements. Maybe this is Mkoy's chance if they get an early setup here and can try and take advantage of the staggered resets here from TSW.
Taki was reset twice and he doesn't have any
มันรอโซ่
He also just uses TP to get to that top side Adakan.
อยู่หลังจอแล้วทำเก่งตอนแข่งผมก็โหดแต่ว่าดูทีมดิ
Deny as much vision here as possible. Histo steps in, goes in with the cataclysm on top of sword, blocked by the walls. JoJo though,
โอ้ดิตาย
his mid laner.
โอ้จีจีว่ะคนดูเวียดนามชนะว่ะ
Connecting as Team Secret Wales already found one in the fight. Histo looking for a little bit more.
เวียดนามชนะจริงว่ะได้ไงวะ
Double. There's soul for them and probably Baron alongside it.
They win the critical fight here. TSW, they walk in and they take everything from Mkoy.
Alioya chased out. They want to take him out just so that he can't contest this Baron. The soul will be Team Secret Wales. 30 minutes in, 4.5k ahead. A Cloud Soul at their backs in this MasterCard priceless moment of the game.
And Team Secret Wales would get the soul by keeping the heart of their composition alive. It's Eddie every single time who is having the protection of his life in these fights. And every time Mkoy try to make a play, it just does not work.
Histo flashing the white flag here as they're going to claim the Baron. We said these were the moments they're going to have to nail, and they nailed it.
มันดีจริงเหรอวะ4แท้งอะ4แท้ง1แครี่
The rest of TSW to focus on JoJo and take down that Ori.
There's also this ward in the Razorbeak pit where Dyer gets a TP behind JoJo Kun.
Yeah, and also then the big ultimate coming through from Dyer, and again it's Eddie who's able to reposition
ตอนรีวายชวน
the fight that makes it
เข้า
so
ทีม
difficult for Mkoy
ถ้า
to
ไป
actually
โอ้
get access to it.
Yeah, I love it. Eddie is looking to use aggressively flash in so he can follow up and
ย้อนเวลากลับไปได้ก็ไม่ไปหรอก
quickly. Him just working so well with Taki there on the other side of the fight.
รีวายเคยชวนจริงหรือว่าบอส
Basically the biggest
จริงครับ
that
เพราะ
they're
ตอนนั้นมัน
facing at the moment. So
ขาด
quickly,
ADC
they made
โห
it
ดแบบ
look
ผม
really easy for TSW.
And what a start to
มัน
the
รู้
series
ไง
for
ว่า
Team
ถ้าแบบ
Secret Wales, beating VKS on day
ผมไม่
one,
มีทีม
losing to KT,
ถ่วงอะ
losing to Fly. I think a lot of people wondered
น่าจะไปได้
whether
ไกล
the VKS best of one was just a flash in the pan. Here they come out 5,500 gold ahead at the 32-minute mark. A soul at their backs, a Baron at their backs, a 5,500 gold lead on Eddie, who's played this Unava 3 times and has about a 21 KDA on it because he doesn't tend to die. And it's just incredible stuff from the LCP number 2 seed.
The LCP demanding respect at Worlds 2025, and they are getting it.
And it's funny to see because it was Mkoy who wanted to face off against CFO, but they can't even get through the first part of LCP to get to the raid boss on the other side as Team Secret Wales stepping forward now. They want to go for this bot lane turret and then deny access from Mkoy.
บอสกลับไปเปิดลีกให้แม่นเถอะตั้งแต่ปิดลีกโคตรมั่วได้แชมป์แล้วไง
Histo dives in a little deep here. Concussive blows comes out, but a good Mikhails from Taki will cleanse away that stun. Still the Guardian Angel on Histo's shoulders. With Galio pushing in the mid lane, Team Secret Wales want to try and crash these two waves at the same time, but they don't quite align them as well as they would like.
Rabadon's death cap now completed for Jojo Kyun though, so if they can find that fight, there is the burst damage behind Jojo to
แชม
try
ป์
and take them across
พี
the
ดิคชั่น
finish
นะครับ
line. But Team Secret Wales
2025
played this excellently.
เดี๋ยวรอกันปีหน้า
They really have not
ลีก
given
เปิ
a
ด
chance for Eddie to get caught out whatsoever, and even now still having the barrier, still having the support that he needs, it feels so difficult for MKOI to find that fight.
Yeah, that's why it's so critical for TSW to get
แช
the
มป์
Baron
แต่งตั้ง
buff.
เอ
This
งไม่นับ
allows them to just destroy these
วันนั้นก็ไม่ได้
towers
แต่งตั้งเองก็คะแนนมันน
Miller goes down, looks like he's down to half
Ui,
HP.
mùi lắm, mùi lắm.
The tower is going
Bên
to
nào mùi
fall
lắm.
onslaught. Will find the knock up onto Elioya. Chase comes in with the hero's entrance. Jojo pinned the target. He manages to flash out.
Ui,
Taki going
cân
back
luôn.
in for the re-engage.
Sủi
Eddie
sủi
goes
lên nát
legendary
quỳ đó.
as Team Secret Wales just
Tao
slowly
biết ngoài
pull
không?
their way
Như là cởi
through
cơn.
the MKOI base.
There's just nothing MKOI can do. Team Secret Wales, the beefcakes are out in full force, and it's Supa who's already at half HP.
Yeah, Eddie is just untouched on this backline. Histo still has the Guardian Angel. He's going to
Ui,
dive forward once
ชนะจริง
again.
ว่ะเวียดนาม
Boom goes down underneath the towers.
โหดว่ะ
And he's actually still alive somehow as Dyer dives back in with the Justice Punch. Super forced away towards the top side. Eddie still
ไม่จบ
standing.
นั่น
And
แหละ
Yoya and Super trying to defend against Team Secret Wales here.
อ๋อเอาดีไม่จบ
Might be
นะ
able to
เนี่ย
do it with the Baron falling off. Reset's going to come out from Dyer. He does have his teleport. Eddie's flash about to come off cooldown. Has the barrier as well. Super
ถ้า
pots
ที
a
มนี้อ่อน
barrier of his
บอ
own.
ส
The
ไม่
pillar
เป็นโล
goes
ไป
down.
แล้
Eddie
ว
out
ทีม
of
ก็
tower
ต้อง
range.
หาย
Just
คาราบอส
in
ตลอด
time as
บอสเป็นคนเดียวเลย
Dyer
เล่นโอ
back
เรา
in.
เป็นคนเดียว
Alva's going to come back from the fountain. Super trying to heal up before his Nexus towers go down. The Unbreakable used to block the shots. Justice Punch in with the taunt. Super coming in with the Gatling gun, but he can't get onto that backline.
Oh,
Eddie
mira,
is low. MKOI know
Đi
it. They
mới
have
đai.
to kill this AD carry, but they just can't
carry.
get through. The
Team Secret
meatballs
Wales
of
don't
Team
die.
Secret Wales. It's a
แทงเยอะจัด
beautiful
เอาเอ็นวะ
from TSW. Elioya, the last man standing, but Eddie kites him like an
Ên quá.
absolute madman. TSW 1-0 up.
What a game here from TSW. We thought it was going to be 4 beef balls and 1 threat. Turned out to be 5
ตกลงมัน
threats.
หยิบกาลิโอ
I
ทำไม
feel
นั่นดิ
his toe really good game
ก็เอามาแทง
on
ๆ
the
อะ
Jarvan. It felt like ever since they lost
ไม่เกมนี้ไอ้คอกิ
in
มัน
mid
มั่ว
lane,
เกินเว้ย
they then just took over the rest.
มันเลยแพ้
It felt like there was just absolutely no way for them to try and get back into it, but I think I want to toss it over to the analyst to break that one down. Shocks, are you as heartbroken as I am right now?
คอกิมัน
I'm
แบบ
angry. Don't
มั่ว
talk
เกิ
to
น
me
ไปเนี่ย
about being heartbroken. I first do want to give credit to Team Secret Wales and the recovery in that game, and then the clairvoyance to just play out the game, knowing that they had MKOI right where they wanted them. But I'm actually so angry. The fact that you get given. You get given. There was a misplay from the enemy. 3 kills for your Trundle jungler in the early game.
Yeah.
That you push him around bot lane. And then Supa, like I like the guy. I think he's been a great player in EU, but I think this is extremely disrespectful to have that recall. To not have the presence of mind to know that they can catch you out because it snowballed against them.
Yeah, I mean, in this play as well, this was after that, but I mean, on vision, he was recalling, like he saw the Jarvan on vision, he walked up to him, didn't stop his recall, gets interrupted, then starts recalling again, doesn't see the ward over the wall, dies. Then here, you know, he chooses this fight where he doesn't actually back off when he's sitting in the side brush, gets caught, dies again. He was really having a
ไอ้
horrible
ซู
run
ป้า
of
มัน
play.
มัน
I felt
รับ
like
งานมาน้อง
had a big draft advantage.
มันแปลก
I felt
มากเลย
like
นะเว้ยน้อง
they,
มัน
you know,
แบก
put
มาทุก
themselves in
เกม
incredible position
เก
in
ม
the
นี้
early
แพ้
game.
เวียด
I
นาม
thought this was a done
แล้วเวียด
deal
นามไม่ได้เล่น
after the first
แบบ
3 kills.
ดีอะไรเลย
Play from Supa was rough. Eddie put himself in a great position, and then with that massive advantage they had, Jojo was kind of the lone hope because he was the only one with gold for MKOI.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, with a composition like this, it's so single damage, right? Which is why the 2 of us didn't like it. You have 1 carry, it's the Yunara, everything is in service of the Yunara. We called out with Poon starting in the top lane with that Scion. It ended up coming through. We actually had all 5 of our highest
ไอ้พวก
win
นี้มัน
rate
ตั้งใจล้ม
champs
มวยหันห
เอ
น้า
อ
ล้มมวยครับ
on MKOI's side.
มันทำให้พี่เสียชื่อเสียงเว้ย มันตั้งใจล้มเว้ย
They're playing 4 melee against Braum, Trundle, Orianna.
And then, yeah, the big thing was
วันนี้ไม่ดู
Eddie
ภาคไทย
ended
รอบ
up
อส
popping up. He ends
อยาก
up
ให้ดูไหมล่ะครับ ภาคไทย
9, 0, and 12 on this Yunara, and it started with so many unforced errors from Wales.
แต่คนช่องพี่มันไม่ค่อยชอบภาคไทยอ่ะ
errors from MKOI to kick it right back to Wales.
ลองให้โอกาสไหมคนดูภาคไทย
They do love to fight Team Secret Wales, and they started to feel it, and they know that they have the advantage on their ADC, and they actually don't make many mistakes in the rest of the game.
No,
ให้
not
โอ
at
กาส
all.
คนไทยด้วยกันไหมครับ
They have really good hands. You cannot be looking at this team as a joke, right? I think that their
ไทย
setups
กิน
on the
ไทยใช้
is worse. I feel like if MKOI, just took that 3 kills with their compositional advantage, played it out slow, played for vision control, play around objectives, just set up 15 fights for that, they would have won this game very, very easily. But instead, they kind of got drawn into the chaos. 41% of the team's damage. It's a solo carry performance here. The team went all there to enable Eddie, and he played it out beautifully.
I want to call out that Azael called it before this game. He's like, okay, if Wales is going to win, he's going to have, like, Eddie is going to have at least a 40% damage share for his team, which just shows you, again, how important it was for this Yunara not to get ahead for MKOI, and that's exactly what happened.
Like, the only things, like, just don't feed the Yunara, just don't feed the... Oops, I absolutely fed the Yunara.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
เดี๋ยวเกมหน้าแล้วกัน
MKOI was
ภาค
not
ไทยดี
thinking
กว่า
about their
คนดู
opponent's win conditions, right?
อย่างน้อยเรา
It's like, you have to think about the only way your opponents will win this is Eddie getting a bunch of kills. So where are they going to attack? Where is this Jarvan going to be looking to attack? Of course, they're going to be trying to attack the bot lane. So really, MKOI's bot lane needed to do nothing but sit back and trade waves. Just farm, do absolutely nothing on the map.
You have a flash and you can E away.
And both your solo lanes have push. Jojo was way ahead of the mid lane. Like, you can play through that and just chill and farm, not let Eddie get accelerated, and you're cruising.
And that's what I think is particularly disappointing for MKOI, right? Because I do think they scouted out what Wales wanted to do well, right? Like, they're like, okay, you're going to come at us. You're going to want to dive. You have this kind of single focus on in your comp in this Yunara. They had a perfect comp to kind of receive that. You saw it from the early Trundle plays. It's exactly what we wanted to see out of Elyoya. So going into this next game, it's really all about looking at execution. It's not draft.
I've seen it before. I just have to say, we called up the records earlier, right? We called up the records of Mad Lions back then, Movistar Koi, the fact that they haven't had a good history against this region.
คิดถึงแบ็คกิ้งภาคแบ็คกิ้งอ่ะใครวะ
Last three matchups. There's also a lot of games in their international history where they throw away leads. And I actually think if they do not manage to pull this back, they have nobody to blame but
แอบ
themselves.
ดูแล้วในมือถือดูช่องไทยไงตะกี้
Was in their
คนไม่
favor.
มีเลย
The draw was in their favor. And I think when you look at the other side, right, this is such a momentous opportunity, I would say, for the team of Team Secret Wales, the youngest roster at this World Championship that now have all the confidence in the world.
Absolutely. And talk about being able to prove your region. Everyone is accepting that CFO is this top team. TSW has an opportunity to push themselves in that conversation. MKOI chose red side there, but it's going to be an exciting game too.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting, right? Because it shows you that they're really, really looking for counter picks to whatever Wales end up bringing out. And I actually thought they did a good job on blue side in game one, so we'll see if they can bring it back in game two.
Tadril says not to be a game one, Andy, but I can't help it right now. Let's see if Movistar Koi can recover this or if Team Secret Wales move on to 2-2.
Their time to try and deny as much vision here as possible. Isto steps in, goes in with the cataclysm on someone saw blocked by the walls. Jojo though,
แต่ซุปเปอร์แปลกจริงคุณดูเกม
here's the mid laner here.
เหมือนจะหลุด
TV behind them. The
ฟอร์มหลุด
shot not
เฉย
connecting as Team Secret Wales already found one in the fight. Isto looking for a little bit more. There's the second. Eddie's going to get a double. There's Soul for them and probably Bammon alongside it.
They win the critical fight here. TSW,
ฟอร์มหลุด
they walk in and they take
อ่ะ
everything
ไป
from
ดูภาคไทยแล้วกันคุณดูให้โอกาสหน่อยนะครับให้โอกาสคนไทยหน่อยเอาเสียงไปไหนอ่ะเอาเสียงไปไหนอ่ะเฮ้ยเสียงภาคไทยไปไหนอ่ะฮัลโหลฮัลโหลยังกาแก้งานอยู่บอก
หลังบ้านมีปัญหาจริงปะเนี่ยหลังบ้านมีปัญหาเหรอคนดูหลังบ้านมีปัญหาอ้าวถือว่าให้โอกาสแล้วนะให้โอกาสคนไทยแล้วนะไม่โกรธกันนะครับไม่พร้อมเองไอเวียดนามนี้มันเอาเรื่องแล้วเนี่ยมันชนะได้ด้วยเหรอคุณดูงงว่ะ1 ADC กับ4แท้งชนะได้จริงเว้ย
ลองไปดูช่องคลิปไหม
โหจะไปดูดีเหรอครับ Watch Party ใน Watch Party อีกทีเหรออย่าเลยดีกว่าเดี๋ยวมีเรื่องโดเท่าไหร่ถึงดูโหมันจะมีเรื่องหรือเปล่าพี่กิฟต์เขาดูซีเรียสอะเด็กไม่ถูกกันเหรอเหมือนไม่ถูกกันน่ะแชทผมกับแชทเขาอะเอาเป็นว่าไม่ถูกกันแล้วกันมันซีเรียสทุกเรื่องมาร์ชเมลโล่ยังคิดมาก
Welcome back to Worlds 2025.
เขาเป็นคนซีเรียสกับชีวิตก็
Game 2 of this best of 3 between Team Secret
เราก็
Wales
ไม่ควรไปเล่นน่ะ
and Team Secret Wales 1-0 up in incredibly convincing fashion, I have to say.
I was certainly convinced. Vietnam showing up huge here. Game number 1. They absolutely destroy MKOI. But MKOI actually got really good starts. They drafted well, and they won the first 2v2 skirmish in mid lane, and still got destroyed. Super especially
ขาวกับดำมันอยู่ด้วยกันไม่ได้
has to really pay more respect.
ที่ขาวใช่ไหม
That's the thing. If you watched the first few minutes of that game and you went off to make a cup of tea, as a European fan, you're delighted. You think, well, things are going great. This is all going to be fantastic. And you come back and you're like, the house is on fire. What the hell happened? And a lot of that was, again, Team Secret Wales
incredibly good at finding these moments, finding these picks, and shout out to Histo, who was fantastic on the jar, on the
เริ่มไหว
jar,
อย่างไรพวก
finding those
เวลา
moments
ทีม
to
แบบ
claw it back. But
อ่อนๆเจอกันอะ
they really need to step it up here
เริ่มอย่างไวอะ
to remain at World 2025.
As we jump into our Champion Select powered by Omen HyperX, let's have a look at where the bans fall. We are in Fearless. Wukong going to get removed by MKOI. Annie, they are on the red side this time. They got to elect their side because they lost game 1. Talia and Rumble taken away by Team Secret Wales.
Okay, so I assume we're going to get a Zir ban still since, okay, yeah, no trades for it. Question then being, what are they going to pressure for Jojo? Jojo loves Rise as well, and has been pretty popular, at least at the beginning of the tournament, although did lose a lot of games. Looking at the jungle, trying to whittle that one down as well.
We did get the Kiana ban from MKOI in the last game, respecting Histo's pressure on that, so I'm curious if they continue with that, or whether you want to just allow some of these bigger power picks through, but the Aurora are going to be banned away.
Yeah, Aurora is something that Dyer really likes to bring out. Played it in 2 of his first 4 games here at Worlds. So taking that away once again for MKOI, getting rid of the Annie. Dyer now it's already used the Galio. The Oriana's off the board. Ari really is his last option of his most played. But Rise, as you said, Kobe still reigns eternal. Cassio, the pick into it. Well known as a counter pick, although I think there's debate as to how good it is. Kiana for Elioya. It's expected if you think about the player, but I won't say MKOI have been a huge Kiana team recently.
I mean, he did end up getting the win on it against Fnatic in the first game of the series, and I mean, we have seen him played in the LEC as well. Got a big lead, wasn't able to close out that game in a win, but still a pick that enables Ayoya to play more aggressive, and I expect Alvaro to try and bring in something that's very aggressive in his own right that can support Ayoya on these pick plays in the early stages.
ผมเล่นโหดนะงู
See what side lanes TSW want to go with this Rise comp that they are building here really early on. They're going to grab this into the Kiana, see if they can try and push that one out.
วันนี้คนดูอยู่กับผมยาวไหมเนี่ย
going to be, you know, early AD carry pick here, or are they going to try and grab one of these engaged supports?
And Nico is still available, one of the most picked or banned here at Worlds so far. Locked in for Team Secret Wales. Not something we see Taki on too often. It's about his 4th, tied 3rd most picks, so has about 4 games on it so far in summer 2015. Into that, MKOI looking to see if they want to pick their support here. You could go AD carry and then ban out a couple of AD carries to get yourself a slightly better matchup down towards that bottom side, where Super was struggling in game 1, so looks like it is going to be support. There's something to combine picks like you
เดี๋ยวจบก็บ่นง่วงไม่นอนมาแล้ววันนี้ผมนอนตั้งแต่ 6 โมงเย็นน่ะ
some of these plays, and also again, like at the moment, what you're seeing on Team Secret Wales is, hey,
Zizel
wants to jump in, Nico wants to get in very, very close. So you've now got these plays with the Cassiopeia to try and disrupt that, which I think is a good call here from MKOI. But they weren't able to disrupt that engage from Team Secret Wales in the last one. So I have to see how they want to round out their composition on comfort to try and fight back.
And bottom lane was a huge story. I mean, it was basically the story of the whole game in the previous one. So you have to respect Eddie here. You know, Kaise, his most played, really big one for him. And MKOI trying to whittle down since he was the carry for the team.
I still think like things like the Ezreal and that are going to be fine here, unless that is going to be the last ban here for MKOI, or even honestly something like the Caitlyn. I think you've got on MKOI something that really likes to play on short-range engages, so either of those picks going to work fairly well in just being able to poke from afar, keep themselves safe, and keep them at a harm's length from things like the Cassiopeia and this Kiana.
You could even look for something like a Jhin. It's something Eddie is relatively comfortable on, and you do have that ability to play from long
ไป
range.
ทำงานต่อไหมวันนี้หยุดครับ
Call for the initiation, get a couple of slows, pop Blossom follow-up. You also have the option of realm warping that Nico onto the backline, that Rise Blossom combination we've seen a couple of times. Zaya bound away by Team Secret Wales. Ezreal locked in for MKOI. They want that safety for their AD carry.
Yeah, I think the mobility for your carries is at a premium right now, looking at the engage that you're playing against. So taking away the Ezreal from Team Secret Wales pretty early on, but see if we do get that pushing lane on bottom side. Again, you know, a Caitlyn lane for a heavy pushing early on with the Nico is huge priority. If you compound that with a Rise, definitely opens up a lot of options for you in the mid game.
The thing I really like about Caitlyn's Kiana as well is that you basically get to dictate where Kiana can walk in around those objective fights, where Kiana is so strong. So if you can set up that zone of control with the traps, it can make it a little bit difficult for the Kiana to find access into these fights. So from Team Secret Wales perspective, you've got a great push in the bot side, a strong mid lane.
ทำเกือบทุกวัน
eventually be able to win that. And now with the Renekton, with that Cassante banned away, there aren't maybe something like a Nar here for Mirwin in that top side.
ตกงานแต่ไม่กล้าบอกคนดูโอ้โห
Go for something a little bit spicy.
ถ้าตกงานจะดีใจมากเลย
Not that tanky. If they're ever caught out, they are just going to be bursted down.
ทำงานเหนื่อยนะ
Team Secret Wales. See, and there's the tank, there's the Ornn, gives you a bit of long-range engage as well. Follow up for the Rakan if he goes in, or even initiation.
ผมก็อยากอยู่บ้านเฉยๆเหมือนกันเลี้ยงหมา
Are you okay scaling with the ornaments that you can pick up later on?
I mean, certainly, yeah. He's picking for comp for sure.
ไม่
Right
ก็ไป
here.
ขับ Uber
Bringing the last piece to the puzzle for those team fights. The long-range engage. Ornn plus Kiana is kind of terrifying in itself, and if you have good Rakan flanks, the engage looks intense from Mkoy. So Merwin kind of being a real team player here, locking in the Ornn
ไม่
for
ทำก็
them.
กลับไทยโหกลับไทยไม่มีงานนั่นเอง
These exceptionally strong side lanes. Renekton should have control in the early stages. Same with this Caitlyn Nico, and that's where you can try and set up this through play, being able to dictate the pace around the map. And honestly, prevent Kiana from going from invades. It's one of the things Kiana likes to do is get into the face of the enemy jungler, see if she can find these picks. But if you are losing control on those side lanes, and as we get to the mid game on the mid wave, thanks to this Caitlyn, finding those plays becomes a little bit more difficult for the for Elyoya's Kiana.
He's very experienced on it.
Mkoy
played too much recently. 10-2 all time on this Kiana. When he came into the league, he was this explosive jungler alongside Razork. They were the new kids on the block who really liked to play through that early game. For Mkoy, they need some of that magic from Elyoya.
ผมก็อยากกลับไทยแต่ว่ามันไม่มีงานให้ผมเลย
Has gone through trials and tribulations, rebuilt the team in 2020.
มีใครเป็นเจ้าของบริษัทไหมล่ะรับผมเข้าทำงานไหมล่ะ
For Mkoy, you're looking at a long road back into Worlds. For Team Secret Wales, you're looking at 2-2. You're looking at knocking out Mkoy once again from that LCP region as we get into game 2.
ผมก็อยากกลับไปประเทศไทยของเราอะบ้านเกิดเมืองนอนอะ
See if they do any sort of resets here. You see the recall channeling start here from Supa. Now they're kind of guessing.
I think it's a great fake though. They send the support topside and look at the resets coming through from Mkoy. They want to try and match now the Ezreal into that top side, but Caitlyn is stuck around the bottom lane. And the bot side is much weaker when it comes towards holding out. It's one of the changes that
เฮียชับบี้โอ้โหจริงปะเนี่ย
ตกลงมึงอยากอยู่บ้านเฉยๆหรืออยากทำงานบอกอย่าโดนไล่ออกแต่ก็บอกกลัวไม่มีงานงงกับมึงวะ
เอาก็ได้หมดไงไม่ต้องงงครับชีวิตผมมันโฟลว์ได้หมดอ่ะตกงานก็ได้มีงานก็ทำใช้ชีวิตชิวๆ
but there are emotes and such that you can pick up. So we see Daya and Jojo Pyun matching up in this mid lane. The Cassio into Rise, a counter we've seen for quite a while. Idea that you can like chase him down, the Twin Fangs healing as well, working out quite well for you. But hasn't always worked as effectively as people tell me it does on paper.
Yeah, and Miasma pretty good for later into this comp as well. Sometimes you can be a champion that punishes Xin quite well. On top of that, Jojo, of course, plays this matchup super aggressively. Always looking for the early, combat power there. Ezreal versus Renekton, though, Supa should be able to get some early harassment down and push Pun back. He's doing a good job landing the Mystic shots here, applying that aggression versus the range versus melee matchup on the top side. Same thing down here. Trying to soak, though, Alvaro and Merwin. See if they can scrape together any sort of CS for him.
At the moment, though, as you say, it's going to be Eddie just able to hit her alongside Taki onto the turrets, and this is going to work out fairly well for themselves as they can just continue to whittle this down. And in this position, this is kind of what you want for your Caitlyn, where she can just snowball off of the goal she's going to pick up early, and also open up potential invades on these.
งูเคาน์เตอร์ยังไงเหรอครับก็ดาเมจเยอะกว่าครับแล้วก็ระยะพอกันคือถ้าเทรดกันใช้สกิลเท่ากันงูแรงกว่าแค่นั้นแหละ
You also have to worry about how low you're getting as far as the dive. So even though you are Ornn, are a tank, Don't want to get too low here, and every little bit of extra harassment. We are going to see the Recon move from Alvaro, of course, towards mid lane.
Jumps onto Dyer, who flashes away
โดนนี่ตายเลยนะ
go
นะ
for a little bit of healing there onto
โดน
Jojo.
สกิล2
Nico did end up taking the cannon minion here, so I wonder if Team Secret Wales are setting up for a dive onto Mirwin in this bottom side. He's gone incredibly low, and again, you have that opportunity to turn into that cannon minion and tank that turret for days. It looks like that's exactly what Team Secret Wales want to try and do now.
Going to build himself a cloth armor with that passive. Plate almost down. Taki stepping forward, looking for the blooming burst damage. Doesn't quite connect. Histo coming in. Mirwin beginning to back off. Has popped a potion.
อุ้ยได้เลยเหรอโอ้โหเรียบร้อยเจอคอมโบโกง
It's Kiana with burst blood. Alioya will get it. The dive on the bot side. It's enough. Great tanking from Taki with the cannon. Good spot there, Dacta.
อุ้ยงานใหญ่
Really
นะเนี่ย
nice job on the bottom side, but MKOI able to fight back in the mid lane, playing around the lockdown from Jojo Pyun and an early kill for Alioya. At least it's something back for MKOI.
Yep, getting some gold back there is going to be a
วิเคราะห์เกมหน่อยครับเกมนี้เหรอ
slight lead over to
ดู
TSW,
เซตกลางนี่
almost negligible. It's going to be about where the goal did go, and
เละอยู่นะ
Zin getting kill credit and Kiana getting kill credit. If you see a Kiana get early lethality items here, that can be devastating. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, it looks like though actually it's another little bit of a lead to Alioya thanks to being able to get both Scuttle Crabs as well. Now moving back in towards jungle, he clears his bottom side, will reset and be able to move back into his top side as it starts to respawn. So for Alioya, nice little lead.
ตอนนี้บอสให้ใครเอ็นก่อยครับ
that nice back for himself so he can spend some of that gold.
Does mean, of course, Rise no
ไอ้
flash
โจโจ้นี่มัน
for
โห
a
ดนะ
long time as
ตอนอยู่
well.
C9 โคตรกากอะ
Jojo can continue to pressure in mid lane. Well, looks like we might have junglers meeting up at the Raptor attempt.
Histo not going to go for the Razor,
Not
but
seen.
instead going towards that mid lane. Jojo doesn't have the flash. Dyer doesn't have one either. Histo looking for the
กล่อม
Q
เวทีแล้วมันผิดตรงไหนวะเจอกันที่บอสเลย
continues with that Rune Prison and overload and auto needed. Histo takes it. Red buff. The buff that secures it there for Team Secret Wales.
Nice counter there. Histo gets back in towards mid lane to even up a bit. I mean, the offensively blown flashes can be punished just as much as the defensively blown ones.
And this is the problem with Alioya sticking out on the map so long. He hasn't actually got to reset to match the early back, so didn't have the damage when it came towards matching that gank.
เมื่อไหร่มนุษย์ต่างดาวจะมา
Really
เหรอ
nice timing window from Histo.
Yeah, Histo a little bit behind on the
มันอาจ
camps
จะมีอยู่
because of it.
อยู่หรือเปล่า
And Alioya
แต่คุณ
keeping
ไม่
up
รู้
the
มนุษย์ต่างดาว
farm,
อาจจะอาศัยอยู่
doing
กับ
that
คน
work,
ก็ได้
and actually getting the kill credit does mean the goal
อะไรก็
will
เป็น
be
ไปได้
close.
Pun hits 6 here, chasing Mirwin out of that top side. Has about a 15 CS lead as he's holding that wave. He's actually just tanking the tower. With Mirwin not being level 6, there's no threat of a Call of the Forge God. You still have Flash as well for Pun, and by holding that wave where it is, it's going to push slowly towards Pun.
Yeah, and since Pun has his level 6, the Renekton all-in is really threatening. Even though you get low, Renekton is below 50%, then you get a lot of this extra Fury generation, and you're even more threatening. So, pull the wave a little bit.
Mirwin does have the Bramble Vest though.
Flash away from Mirwin. As you say, Mirwin did build that Bramble Vest, but it's a flash for Flash
กล่อมเมีย
and
กิน
the
ไม่ผิด
ultimate
เลย
out of
เรียก
Pun.
ร้องให้ผู้ชายทีกล่อมเมีย
Good
กิน
play
ไม่
there
มีทีใน
from
สังคม
Pun,
นอต
getting
ที่บ
the
อส
flash,
ใช่
denying more CS. Really like the use
ถูกต้อง
of
ครับ
this extra level advantage.
And for Mirwin, using the Bellows Breath there, which is your ability to avoid the Ruthless Predator stun right in the face of the guy that wants to jump in as Jojo is the target. Petrifying Gaze will get the stun onto Dyer. Taki doesn't really have the damage to follow up. So in the end, Jojo just uses his ultimate and is able to slither his way away.
I mean, that's a huge petrifying ult to keep himself safe, but also a nice ultimate to burn at these early stages, especially you're looking at things like Dragon up, you've got that Void Grubs that are about to spawn as well. I think Jojo Pyun should have his ultimate back up in time, but still, I like this proactivity from Team Secret Wales in the early stages.
Pun arriving in time for the minion wave as well, collects it even with the slow traveling teleport, gets there with open arms, and so this is working out so
เมือง
well
ไทยร้อนไหมครับตอนนี้
for TSW. I mean,
กี่องศา
sending
เมืองไทย
Taki in the level 1 up top side with the sweeper to sweep out the lane swap detection ward, making MKOI guess, resulting in the early
คิด
game
ถึงเมือง
lead for
ไทย
themselves. The other thing that has been a
อยาก
big
กลับไปกิน
contributing
ก๋วยเตี๋ยว
factor to that lead, of course, have been the movements from Taki on the Nico and applying the extra pressure towards mid lane to put the balance back the other way.
Reads goals across the board for Team Secret Wales. 700 gold between that Renekton and Ornn. 400 between the AD carries, and Eddie, most of that is just off taking place. You can see the CS is equal. Obviously, there's an extra assist for Eddie, but he's in such a strong position to just push super back using that serrated dirt. Grub started by TSW as they force MKOI back into their jungle.
Elyoya having that supreme display of talent, though, could be massive at some of these objective fights, and that's realistically what you're trying to wait on for this jungler, so then you can actually be a focus in these fights. Jojo still trying to get trade against Dire, but Team Secret Wales push on top, happily taking these void grubs with a little contest coming through.
แม่ล่ะบอสเคยอยากกลับไปหาไหมมีแต่คนถามเรื่องแม่ว่ะแม่เหรอเฉยๆอะเจอก็ได้ไม่เจอก็ได้
Looks like they will be able to continue it. I mean, Caitlyn plus Nico is going to be threatening no matter where it is on the map.
TSW will be really happy with how this early game's gone. With five players who are so young, the new generation of the LCP showing up so well here at this Worlds.
ขอซื้อเบอร์แม่ได้ไหมคืออะไรอ่ะเฮียจะซื้อเบอร์แม่คืออะไร
In this series, whether or not they'd have the same impact that they can have with Hero, but they are constantly putting the pressure down, and Pun has had a really good series so far.
Yeah, especially his side lane play here. His part in the lane swaps, you know, controlling these minion waves, applying that extra pressure to Merwin, has resulted in their biggest advantage.
Yeah, and it's you wouldn't expect Team Secret Wales with
เนรคุณเนาะแล้วพวกคุณอยู่กับแม่กันเหรอทำเป็นพูด
appearances on a world stage. Like Taki's the only one that's been here, but his toe has looked absolutely fantastic. Eddie is popping off, and it feels incredible to see these guys.
ถ้าคุณแคนาดาแฟชั่นแต่งตัวแบบนี้กูยอมไปอยู่ประเทศโลกที่ 3อย่างเขมรเลยดีกว่า
โอ้โหแฟชั่นแคนาดาครับใช่ครับ
It's one of those things where you just have to reframe
2 ทีมนี้ทีมไหนเข้าชิงกับเต็นครับ
โอ้ไม่มีหรอกครับ2 ทีมนี้ยังไงก็ตกรอบครับ อ๋อขายเบอร์แม่เหรอแม่ผมไม่มีโทรศัพท์ครับพี่เมื่อก่อนเคยมีนะผมเคยให้ Oppo ไปตอนผมไปซื้ออันใหม่แต่มันน่าจะพังแล้วล่ะ Oppo มัน10 กว่าปีที่แล้ว
But it keeps everyone topside for Team Secret Wales and Mirwin.
อยู่กับแม่เหรอ
No wave.
เนี่ยลูกแง่ไงคนดูช่องผมเป็นลูกแง่กันเนี่ย
Yeah, I mean TSW hard winning both side lanes at the moment because you just had Pun on the bottom side also pushing out the Ezreal, and so they just continue their onslaught on the towers. Even if you don't go for dives, go for kills, you get guaranteed money here. Value from the clubs, value from these turret plates.
And I think the only thing that Team Secret Wales aren't getting that I would like to see them to get is the dragon. Like it is still sitting there. We're 11 minutes into the game.
18 ออกบ้านวัยรุ่นเมกาเว้ย
A little bit earlier in the game because Cassiopeia scaling is insane. This Ornn going to add a lot of help in that later portion of the game as well. But still, they're getting so much gold.
Call of the Forge got used by Mirwin just to clear out the wave here. Doesn't kill off all the minions though. There's a couple of casters still there. Histo diving in onto Mirwin, who does have the flash. Chasing the hole is going to connect onto him, and Histo looks for the chase. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Pun surviving. There's no dive materializes for MKOI. A kill, and what will be a tower for Team Secret Wales on the top side.
Patience from Histo on the knockup was crucial there. Waited for the Bellows breath to come in when Mirwin trying to time it, and ends up catching him the second that flame breath is gone. And now Eddie, we talked about it, this pushing Caitlyn with those 3 void growth getting work done in the side lanes.
Meanwhile, Pun on the bottom side, nice job from him as well. He dodges the recon, knockup, just clears out the wave. Is able to hold on the bottom side, so the payment is the dragon. MKOI though very far down in gold, and they return to this bottom side.
Something I love about Team Secret Wales as well is like now they're 2,500 gold ahead, 12 minutes in. They lost to a KT comp that did a very similar thing to what they're doing right now. They lost to Docdam's Caitlyn. They got pushed out of every lane in the early game. Here, we haven't seen Caitlyn for Eddie.
โอ้แต่เลทชนะ
This summer.
แต่ว่า CS อ่อนแม่งแบบ
adapted. They picked it up and they said, okay, we can do that too. We can learn. We can grow here at Worlds.
And when you try and put a stop to this Caitlyn, it's a ghost flash Caitlyn. So a lot of mobility here to try and avoid this engage that we really highlighted in Champ Select for MKOI. And we'll see if Eddie can be a big player in this game as well.
And it's this very similar story to what we saw in the last game, where you have a lot of beefy boys, or maybe not so much, but that can sit in front of you and just deny access to this Caitlyn. Like Taki, you got Histo with the ultimate, same when you look
ชนะแน่นอนครับ
I love that when their wave is a cannon wave and my wave isn't.
ผลักเข้ากำแพง
Very suspicious.
ซีงูฉก
ถ้าไม่อยากได้ยินเสียงก็เปิดคลิปตอนเด็กดูดิทำไมต้องโทรไม่อยากคุยผมเข้าใจเนาะพี่บอส
My lucky day. Bottom side, though, yeah, still going to be able to defend, still going to be able to hold it here. And we're going to see the continued push from TSW. Now we're going to have a possible rotation over towards mid lane, but the long extended lane on top side too should be Pun favored. He's got his black cleaver done, so Renekton can continue to get the early push.
Pun with a 2-level lead over Mirwin, pops the dominance and looks for the chase. Slice and dice forward, Mirwin having to use the rush to get away. Do it, Pun! Carla, the weak Pun finds it. Now he's going to get collapsed on by the rest of MKOI with a TP coming in, but they have to invest so much to kill off this Croc.
It's about sending that message, you know. He has domination in the side lane, gets the kill on Jess's flash to do it as well.
But it's completely worth, because look at the bot side. You've got the Ryze is pushing in there.
มีใครวิเคราะห์เก่งเท่าพี่ด้วยเหรอ
And because MKOI, everyone went to go and deal with the Croc. The rest of Team Secret Wales are succeeding.
100%. It's about keeping up the pressure on all sides of the map at once. So if they teleport up there, if they try and trap you after you go for your kill, there will be further payment across the map, and this is solo tower gold to a Ryze.
And now if you're MKOI, you're looking at this 14.5 minutes in, 3,000 gold in the hole, a 2-level disadvantage in the top side. The enemy AD carry, although slightly behind in XP, is 1,000 gold ahead as well. You're preying on mistakes. That's what you have to do here as MKOI. You're praying you can somehow get to 3 items, maybe to 4 on this Cassio, on this Ezreal, and then get
ฝรั่งมันเก่งเกมยิงเพราะสมองมันเล็กสารอาหารเลยไปเลี้ยงตัวใหญ่ๆหมดเกมโมบ้าสมองแพ้เอเชียตัวเล็กสมองโตจริง
They were trying to find new ways to approach their style of gameplay, but it was supposed to culminate in Worlds. And that's just not what we're getting to see right now for MKOI. Sitting here,
ฝรั่งเล่นเกมไม่ค่อยโหดเพราะว่ามันไปเลี้ยงร่างกายเยอะไงสารอาหาร
They're kind of trapping themselves inside the river. That's a very dangerous predicament to put yourselves in at the moment. Ryze has teleport,
ทฤษฎีนี้น่าคิดนะ
TSW can apply pressure just by waiting. Have Ryze continue to push out on bottom side. They chase MKOI out of the river, out of the danger spot, and they will be able to take it.
They just force MKOI out. They have total vision control around here to Team Secret Wales, and they'll take the Herald 16 minutes in. Next Drake a minute away. Let's see if Team Secret Wales want to go for that. I expect this Herald to be used around the mid-tier 1 just to crack open that entirety of the tier 1 towers from MKOI.
Yeah, especially when the dragon is about to spawn, and if MKOI even try and contest
แล้วแอฟริกาล่ะบอสแอฟริกาวิ่งอย่างเดียว
and suddenly this map becomes a little bit less likely for
ไม่ต้องสน
MKOI
ใจ
to enter it. It's Team Secret Wales with such a commanding chokehold on this game. You can see Alvaro trying to set up this deep vision, but does get spotted out. Looking for a pick, looking for a moment. But it looks like he might actually find himself lost a little bit. Doesn't look like Team Secret Wales are interested in the bird though.
Eddie chunked out a little bit with that True Shot Barrage coming out from Super, but
อุ้ยเกมนี้ถ้าแพ้ก็แพ้บนน่ะเละเกินด้านบน
once again
ไล่
Black Cleaver complete
โห
health
ดจังลีเน็ก
now getting through the chain vest and the bramble vest on Mirwin. Rift Hell being put down as the dragon does come up, so we'll try and see if TSW decides to go for the all
บอสย้ายไปเป็นฝรั่งผมคนไทยแม่วันๆก็พูดภาษาไทยเนี่ย
Yep, guarantee the charge here. And again, if they can move Eddie into the river early,
อยู่ต่างประเทศครับแต่จริงๆผมว่ายังเป็นคนไทยอยู่
that's hugely beneficial for the approach to Dragon. But he's currently pushing out that mid wave, kind of catching it from the 3 members of MKOI. So it's going to be a bit of a retake situation. MKOI grabbing the Scuttle Crab first.
Yeah, ideally you would have liked to have trapped MKOI before they can get out of their own jungle in this choke point right here. But MKOI retreating super.
Swar can shift across the wall there, was holding on to it for a long time. Team Secret Wales will regain control of the bot side river. MKOI trying to step back up, trying to get a little bit of vision control for themselves. That Nico clone doing a lot of work.
มีชิ้นเดียวเอง
Disappears out of the bush. And this is a little more tentative than I would like from TSW. I think they're in a stronger
เล่น
position
โบ
than
ซิเกม
perhaps
ตาย
they
แล้ว
are
จริงปะเนี่ย
right
เฮีย
now. But I can also
ทำไมอะ
understand trying to avoid the quickness and the supreme display of talent combination that can come out from MKOI.
The only thing I can imagine is that Eddie's incredibly close to his Infinity Edge, and I think they might be waiting for him to try and finish that, which is why he's getting so much of this farm in the mid lane. So he's going for the reset now. I think he's just about to finish it, and then they can look for it. But it has given a window now for MKOI to actually be able to play for it, and the interrupt as well. This should be Dragon here for MKOI.
Yeah, also TSW aren't the ones, trying to focus on stacking the dragons
ไม่กล้าสู้
for this
ก่อน
game. They want to play side lanes here and then index heavily into gold.
โอ้ผมว่า M ก่อย
as
ช
you
นะ
say,
แล้วว่า
are
ทั้งเนี้ย
going to be able
เล
to
ด
pick
เกม
up
แน่นอน
number 2. And we'll see about the pressure applied in the side lanes by Pun as well as Dyer on the top side. Pun is fine with 2 low damage champions on his side of the map. Rakan and Ornn in no world ever take down that Renekton.
I don't think he's too worried. It's the Infinity Edge there for Eddie. So
พี่ป๊อปเหมือนบูโน่มาเลยจริงปะเนี่ย
Taki looking for the flank onto Super, who has the cleanse and doesn't use it even though he's rooted. And the ace in the hole will take him down to about half HP, or 2/3.
But Team Secret Wells are setting up their highway through that top side jungle,
มัน
which is
ไงบอส
trying to
ง่ายๆทุก
focus
เกม
on
ที่
this
อยู่กับ
mid lane tower.
UB
You can see
เฮีย
everyone
พูด
in
อะไร
MKOI,
เนี่ย
they're
UB
trying to look for the cross map, knowing that their mid lane tower is about to go down, but this only opens up
คือ
the
อะไร
potential
ครับ
shift onto
เฮี
mid
ย
turret into top turret.
ผมไม่
I
ใช่
think that
ผม
is
ไม่รู้
indicative
สับ
of
อะไร
the
อย่าง
most
เงี้ยเลย
impressive thing I've noticed with Team Secret Wales over the last couple of days. Their willingness to step back on a side lane. Dyer now beginning to step back up as he tries to clear out the way. Velioya waited. Miasma down. Petrifying Gates coming out as well.
วิคอมโบอย่างเลือนอ่ะ
A caster curse if I've ever heard one. TP comes out from Pun, but his mid lane is already dead. Alpha trying to get away. Cleanses out. And the wind becomes lightning slow.
UB soft UB soft ผมชื่อเต็มยังไม่รู้เลย
Take down one of the pushing prongs of this
เอ้ย
team.
มันคนดูเยอะจังวะ
As it backed off, Dyer was like, all right, I'm weak side. I know, I got to back off for a little bit. But Elyoya kept up with the play, stayed down there. So once Dyer returns to the tower, they do get their dive off. Their mid lane, of course, the outer tower went down pretty early, and the secondary one sustained a little bit
ไม่
of
รู้ก็
damage.
ไม่แปลกวันๆเล่นแต่ L
MKOI kind of riding the line at the moment.
I do
ไม่
think
เล่น
there is
เก
a
มอื่น
window now
ก็
where
จริง
MKOI can just say,
ไม่
right,
ค่อยเล่นเกม
hands
อื่น
off
ครับ
the dragons, and we are just going to collect waves and side lanes. Like 2 items now for Jojo Pyun. He will be very strong as he starts to approach his third. And you've still got this Ornn. You're starting to hit points for Supa. Like, this is a game that is very much in control of Team Secret Wales, but the late game is incredibly strong if MKOI can find their fights.
The team fighting from this team has the potential to be explosive. Again, the engage that we highlighted in Champion Select is there. The burst damage from Kiana. The burst damage from Caitlyn. Actually.
Infinity Edge get the ace hold down as well. Elyoya forced all the way back. About 30% HP. I will note MKOI about 21 petals to 9 here. With the outgun being started by Dyer, but I don't really think he's looking for it. We saw this similarly in game 1 as Taki's caught out a little bit.
Well, I do kind of
walk away. True Shot Rush comes out. Taki's almost down. Oh, the Mystic Shot blocked. He goes just wide. Call of the Forge God. Taki flashes. Crescent Guard used by Histo as well. He has a blast going to get out. He will utilize that escape tool.
วันๆกดแต่แรงกูจะรั่ว
They
เอ้า
know
ผม
they
ผิดอะไร
worked
เนี่ย
out the Nico.
เล่นเกมเดียวก็ผิดด้วยเหรอ
Looks like not going to get hasty with it.
But that's bizarre. Like, honestly, at this point, you should be looking for something like Pun should not be able to clear out that top wave. You could be putting pressure onto Adakan, but instead MKOI kind of sitting on their laurels and saying, hey, we're just happy to farm up. I think this was a moment where MKOI could have got something back for themselves.
ผมผิดอะไรวะที่เล่นเกมเดียว
The risk of how quickly Team Secret Wales can get back to the Adakan is always there. You've got the Realm Warp, the Rise. Like, Histo had stayed around so he can always steal. Pun still has his dominance. I agree with you. Like, you want to see MKOI, if you're a European fan, looking at that moment saying, what can we get out of this? But in the end, just a couple of waves were their prize.
And they're looking for their scaling to continue. One more stack for the Rod of Ages for Jojo. Ornn going to start upgrading some items fairly soon as well.
แต่
So
ผมทำไมรู้สึกว่าเอ็มก่อนมันได้เปรียบวะเงินตามนะแต่ได้เปรียบอะ
Jumping forward here with MKOI trying to control the vision around
อาจจะเพราะว่าเคป่ะไม่มี impact เท่าไหร่
Crab. I'll try and take that for Elyoya, who's been able to keep up with farm on this Kiana.
Good interrupt, honestly, because TSW, again, they need to leverage the split push. Keep your Rise applying pressure on the opposite side of the map from the Otacon. So keep the split push up. He's got his teleport. They can threaten trap plays.
also jumps onto Alvaro. Elioya on that front line. TP coming behind from the rise here. Crescent Guard super into display. Talent coming out as well. As he still dives onto Alvaro. Pop Blossom not finding anyone. A 3-man petrifying gaze as Jojo begins to turn on the Twin Fangs. Dyer on the flank. MKOI 5v4 in their favor as Dyer begins to walk away with that phase rush. Super having to flash out. Call of the Forge Rod coming out as well. Ace in the hole. Not blocked. Super down. The sniper finds his man as Eddie gets one. But Team Secret Wales have lost 2 in the fight. 3 so far, in fact, as we see Pun falling. Elioya, Alvaro, and Jojo on the chase. Dyer all on his lonesome, caught out by MKOI. They'll find a 4-for-1 somehow.
And now they will get the Otacon. MKOI fight their way out of it. TSW, they called their play. They teleported the Ryze in. But MKOI fight it out through the river, and they're going to get the rewards.
And this is where it's now terrifying because MKOI are winning fights and they've got the dragons, but it's this play as Taki tries to go for the setup here, but Elioya ends up getting the play. Now watch Jojo as Team Secret Wales goes for the turn, gets this huge flash, petrifying gaze, which prevents Team Secret Wales from doing anything. Eddie's now too low to really follow up, and even though it's Dyer and Pun on the flanks, sure, they end up picking off Supa thanks to long-range Halo ultimate, but Jojo is running amok in this fight, and he's the damage dealer that MKOI have.
And Alvaro with some big setup work there as well on the Recon, locking them up.
ไอ้อาเกโร่นี่เล่นโหดนะ 006
combo. MKOI, see what they can do afterwards, because that basically deleted the gold lead there in addition to all those petals they already had. Medic, now those are empowered petals.
The one thing, though, is that at least Team Secret Wales, as we were watching the replay, did get the dragon. So at least preventing that from going across to MKOI and a third dragon going across. So it will be a little bit of time before MKOI can stack that. But again, this is what we're talking about. MKOI's late game is nothing to sniff at. Now they're starting to find fights. They're getting gold onto Jojo, who is a very, very scary carry. And I think for Team Secret Wales, not quite yet, but they're certainly starting to go into the back foot.
Jojo at 3 items, 2,500 gold ahead, has the upgraded
Rylite
via those Ornn upgrades. And for Team Secret Wales, you're looking at like 2,500 gold that just evaporated in a single team fight. You do still have the tools. You still have a big Caitlyn, 3 items on him. You still have Ryze trying to scale up, but it becomes trickier and trickier as this game goes on.
And that's the key. It is hard to operate in the side lanes. It is hard to operate, pushing and overextending because of the range of MKOI's engage that can come at you from so many angles. With Recon as well as Ornn, it is very dangerous on the map for them. So MKOI, I feel like they just have way more useful tools in the game now looking forward. Since we're past 25 minutes, their team fight is insane. Their ability to pick you off.
Elioya jumping in with the audacity. Dyer's going to try and get out with the realm whip here, but the quickness and the miasma for the grounded effect. MKOI find their man in the side lane with the TP coming in. The wave not quite in the position for MKOI to go for an immediate dive. Team Secret Wales looking to bolster the defenses down towards this bottom side, but MKOI don't have to go for anything more. Oracle's out of Pun, slices away from the grand entrance.
More about pushing Pun away from that bot side tower so they can pick up that gold, but MKOI
แต่กลางเวียดนามนี่อ่อนครับ
the kill and a summoner spell from Pun as well. That is perfect now. Taki and Eddie.
Force Guard onto Eddie. Super, look at the essence block. The knockup coming in as well as Super and Mirwin team up to take down the cake.
It was looking dire for MKOI, but by some miracle they are finding the fights that they need. And maybe just maybe they can push us to that game number 3.
Recon engage on the bottom side, Ornn engage in the mid lane, and MKOI are stacked now. Multiple Ornn upgrades coming through. Elioya got his as well. Their team fight is insane. So if they just camp out here, they can continue to force TSW into these scary situations, and you're going to have to get some miracle engage from Taki, on Nico, dream proto belt flash play from him or something. It is a 3 item, Caitlyn, with the crit multipliers here. So maybe some rapid fire poke does come through, but just past the 25 minutes, it doesn't seem like they're really able to keep up with this side lane pressure or anything for them.
Step forward here, Mirwin waiting for him. Gets the knock of miasma down as well. No slice, no dice. There's the petrifying gaze. Pun stares into the eyes of Jojo, who takes down his name in his book.
Pick after pick after pick. MKOI feels like the game is theirs for the taking now.
And you have the Baron sitting there waiting. They're going to try and start it up. Dyer will need to TP in to try and stop this, but Jojo, he shreds this thing.
Absolutely melts it. And Yoya and Alvaro there too. Super trying to see if anyone comes in. Looks like Team Secret Wales have given up the ghost on the Baron. Instead, they'll try and take tier 2 on the bot side.
โอ้แล้วของ4ชิ้นเป็นของแบบว่าเพิ่มเลือดแล้วก็ป้องกันหมดเลยอ่ะมันโกงนั่นเนี่ยงูเนี่ยไอเทมมันอ่ะ
Answering tip for Tat plus the Baron now in favor of MKOI. And this is exactly what they need to just keep this ball rolling 50 seconds until that potential third dragon for MKOI.
Redemption used by Alvaro as well to try and keep people around. You can see MKOI are just looking for the knockups. Oh, Realm Warp avoids the call of the Forge Court, but MKOI still have 3 players in that mid lane. Will take another tier 2 off this push.
What far do they want to chase though? You can see Alvaro is still looking to interrupt these resets, and Jojo and Alyoya could also try and collapse onto the bottom side.
Eddie's still here. He's still trying to get onto Super. Doesn't
มีโอกาสพลิกไหมเกมนี้เหรอครับ
stepping forward with that miasma once again. The Crescent Guard down, TP coming out as Mirwin looks to help out his team. Supreme Society Talent not going to get any stuns. Team Secret Wales on the back foot. The Mystic shots not enough to take down Pun, but now with the tower pushing in, with the minions pushing into the tower. In fact, that will be an inhibitor tower in the mid lane. Eddie trying to flank, not something you often see a Caitlyn do. Looking for the hunt. Elioya chases in and Eddie gets him. The shutdown. Elioya trying to make a fancy play with his flash. Now a TP behind by Team Secret Wales.
It's going absolutely disastrously for MKOI. Team Secret Wales, they're turning into sharks as they're seeking and hunting for MKOI. But the mistakes were there, and now Super
watches in the Mystic shot wide as Ezzy dances away from it. In the end, Team Secret Wales will just settle for the drink.
Oh man, Eddie is the TSW hope. This guy is sitting MKOI down and keeping TSW in the game. That brush play on the side where they kept Dyer, he canceled his recall, stayed in the brush, and then flashed onto Alvaro.
Taki steals the blue away as well.
And the thing was, Alvaro gave his life on that bottom side, as actually Super needs to be careful, but gave his life on the bottom side to stop the resets from Eddie and Dyer, so MKOI could all in with 4 members onto the play underneath the inhibitor turret. But when they couldn't find the play, and Eddie then gets Alyoya, it opens up Team Secret Wales
พลิกได้ละตอนนี้พลิกได้ละ
and steal that crucial dragon.
เคทลิน5 ชิ้น
Team Secret Wales after the fact as
แรงอยู่นะ
they stole away
ซอน
the
ย่าปุ๊บ
blue
ก็โดนวางแผน
with
อีก
Histo, and they managed to secure their own with Taki, so they'll be very happy to not give a blue buff over to either this Cassio or this Ezreal, who are obviously so reliant on having that mana.
Yeah, that is actually truly massive. You know, in the late game when it goes to everybody as well. Now, we're seeing them push top again. We've got Renekton with teleport ready, and Pun is trying to split push. Here we go.
Supreme display of talent, and the true shot barrage is a 2-shot barrage. As MKOI find a couple of kills, they're going to chase onto Eddie as well, who's able to avoid the edge of the knock-up there from MKOI. Realm Warp out by Dyer. Looking to try and get someone to that backline. Pun needs to get back quickly because MKOI are knocking on the Nexus to even out this series.
Yeah, is that going to be it with the Baron buff? MKOI can push in.
There's so little left here for Team Secret Wales. MKOI see their moment to push us to game number 3.
Pun, Dyer, and Eddie. Dire straits for them in this game. Can they defend? Pun goes in, dodges away with the slice and the dice.
กระดกแว่นนี่ไหนดูตาหน่อย
MKOI are going to back away. 12 seconds on Histo. Taki back up. Makes it a 4v5 in MKOI's favor, but it will just turn their attentions back towards the jungle.
Yeah, the Red Bull Baron power play was next to nothing for MKOI, and as it fades, they don't have the survivability on their minions to close out that game. It's nice picks, but Team Secret Wales hold on to fight one more time.
Okay, teleport out to the top side to keep up the pressure here. You know, that's the lone inhibitor still remaining for TSW.
เมื่อก่อนใส่แว่นไม่เห็นบน
MKOI, they reset, they
ไม่มัน
immediately can
ไอ้นี่ไง
reapply that
หูฟัง
pressure.
ด้วย
Super minions doing their work in mid and bottom.
ใส่แว่นแล้วมันบีบ
Alyoya
หู
has another item completion as well, so they'll be slightly delayed on him to join the rest of the push.
He'll be able to come back out now, but with that edge of night,
ใส่แว่นเท่ากับโอตาคุ
trickier to catch him out. 10-2 on this Kiana all time, looking to make it 11. Zhonya's Void Staff, Seraph's, Rylai's, Rod of Ages, Dark Seal. 10 stacks on the last 2 as Jojo is in an incredibly powerful position on this Cass. No boots, of course, just in case you were wondering.
He's still stopping though, it doesn't really matter.
I was very curious.
So MKOI just denying Vision around this jungle, going to take away as much gold as possible in the form of these camps. Elio waiting down towards the bottom side of mid.
เห็นได้นะเนี่ยเพื่อน
Position. He's spot. Oh, he's not. He's in the bush. As that warding trinket does go down, with 2 waves of supers pushing in, you can see a couple of question mark pings coming out from Team Secret Wales. They're aware. They're like, hey, we can't step up easily here.
So I'm pretty sure they did spot Oyoya. That blue ward does give a vision around it, even if you are in the bush. So they were putting question mark pings onto Oyoya, but they're not going to push it anyway. They just need to try and hold on to anything that they can. But MKOI en masse now on this top side turret. And it's up to Mirwin to
ไอ้บอส
escort
นิว
this
ซีรี
minion
ส์เกาหลี
wave
อยาก
in.
เป็นอาจุมาเสียเลือกข้างบ้านสินะ
Waiting to get
ไม่
those
ใช่
last hits on the opposing minion, so the
อันนี้ทรงผมพี่ปูครับ
line up with it properly. Pun trying to defend, but he backs away. The inhibitor tower will
ส
go
วัสดี
down.
คันเจ้า
MKOI
ชายสิ
doing
ทธัต
this
ถะ
by
โอ้โห
the numbers. 3 inhibitor towers, 3 inhibitors
ชายสิทธัตถะเลยเหรอ
now. Last chance defense for Team Secret Wales.
ถ้าเจ้าชายมันต้องมีนี่ด้วย
Can they do it though? MKOI knocking on the door.
มีติดตรงหน้า
Team
ผาก
Secret Wales.
It's a back away into Baron angle. It's a back away into Baron angle with the miasma coming down. MKOI lose one of
ถ้า
their
ติดตรง
tools
หน้า
in the
ผาก
fight,
จะเป็น
so
เจ้าชาย
turn their attention over towards this team-wide Baron buff.
Yeah, honestly, this is an elimination series. It's an elimination game for MKOI, so they are taking no chances at messing up the final push. They're going to retreat and draw TSW even more difficult situation here, trying to walk towards an Ornn Rakan into a Baron. I mean, it's truly dangerous here for TSW. They kind of just have to full send.
They need to find something. MKOI are the big bad wolf at the door, and we're about to find out what Team Secret Wales house is made of.
อุ้ยแต่เคสลินยิงแรงนะเนี่ย
Is going to make it so easy for them to hope.
โอ้แต่ว่าน่าจะฟรีบาลอนปะ
Baron begun by MKOI, and as soon as you see Dyer stopping his recall on the bot side, you
Baron
know Team
ว่ะ
Secret Wales are not going to challenge for this. MKOI get the Baron. We'll see if this Red Bull Baron power play is slightly more advantageous for them than the last. The inhibitors in every lane down for at least a minute more. Mid
โอ้โห
spawn
ของ
first, then
โคตรเยอะ
bot,
งู
then
อ่ะ
top. And MKOI will look to end the game in
6
that next
ชิ้นอ่ะ
minute.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet you that this Baron power play includes a Nexus destruction for MKOI.
Oh, I'm surprised you put the 4 MKOI in there.
Yeah, I was like,
it could do. You never know as MKOI push in with these super minions. Team Secret Wales trying to defend. Flash Petrifying Gaze into the Quickness Crescent Guard with the Pop Blossom coming out as well, but Histo's already down. And MKOI all still incredibly healthy. Elioya diving in for a triple to his name. Pun on the fountain will find one. A Quadra, in fact, Super gets the last. But MKOI will even out the series 1-1.
ไอเรเซอร์กับไอบอสใครจะกดเป็นไหน
found
ต่อ
the fights that they needed to bring that game back, to keep themselves at World 2025 and give themselves another chance here.
One more game to decide your
มันเข้มแล้วมันยังหล่ออีกนะ
Analysts, how are you feeling?
A little bit better, Kobe, about the chances of Movistar Koi at least, and about the fact that they recovered the game, which actually did not start off in a dream way for them at all. But I'm just happy they're still in it at this point.
I will say I'm on to you because you're like a disappointed parent yelling angrily. You did it with G2 yesterday. Now MKOI, they do come back a little shaky in the early game. We did see Wales getting some advantages from that initial swap, being able to dive the Ornn, really getting advantages for their Nectin, but did not work out as well.
บอสให้แม่น
Tough love. Everybody needs it. And Azael, do you want to summarize, as Emily already teed up, like what MKOI had to recover because of the early game?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think it was good that they got the Ezreal out of that 2v2. I think laning with Ezreal, Rakan into Nico Caitlyn is just a death sentence. It's impossible. So I think that the early lane swap was actually great for them.
แมปหน้าให้แม่นเดี๋ยวแบ่งเอาไม่เอาสิครับแจ็ค
So badly after he beat back up to top in the 1v1, he had 2 cloth armors plus the Doran shield against just the Doran shield from Renekton. Hadn't even based, kept spending all his spells on the minions while the Renekton is hitting him, just completely ignoring him, and built himself a massive deficit as a result. He was 30-40 CS relatively early in that 1v1, and he really put themselves into a hole. Plus, I have to say, Eddie was using the Caitlyn well, moving around the map, collecting plates, building up that gold lead, but it kind of all came down to one big fight.
It did. They were in a 4K deficit, but they were able to claw it back from Movistar Koi.
ถูกหมดเลยเหรอวันนี้ถูก1ผิด1ครับคุณตี
Was just right, and they needed it because if you lose this fight, you probably lose the game and you're out of world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this was such an important catch here, right, onto Team Secret Wales, you really see how this MKOI composition works. They'd set up and cast, like, it really has to be about this Casio counter pick. Jojo was the one who was in such
Where's
a good
the block, though? Where is the block?
Should have blocked, but it's okay,
like,
right?
That's what you get for being in shop last game. Like,
I mean, Jojo, I gotta call it out. Jojo has been smurfing these last two games. I think he was their only hope in the last game. He was the only one with a significant lead in this game. Like, he has been kind of 1v9 for MKOI in this series, and I feel like he really is stepping up, giving them a chance because they're building themselves holes, and Jojo is kind of like the chance to bring it back. They were able to do it here in game 2. I also think they've had big draft advantages in both games.
Yeah.
So you can't have bad early games like that if you don't have a draft advantage, if you don't have an individual player that's making those things happen. So going into game 3, you have to hope that they can create that big advantage again, and that this man on your screen can keep putting up some big performances.
Yeah, and I also think it's what happens after
Jojo Payun,
right? Because I do think that is where we see kind of the better macro that we were expecting coming out of MKOI, right? Like, they did a lot of small things massively after that fight we just saw. They got Otacon, they got tier 1, they equalized the gold completely. When they did Baron, I thought it was really smart to then send Supa down to get the tier 2
Look at Rise damage, by the way.
That's yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a caster minion.
แล้วท่อตายไอ้สัตว์ช่างใหม่สี่เหลี่ยมเว็บตน
Talking about Jojo though, first time back at Worlds.
พ่อผมตายแล้ว
You know that riddle I talked earlier about? Taki was on Saigon Buffalo, who lost to Movistar Koi. Well, not Mad Lions back then. With El Yoya, but then El Yoya lost to Jojo on EG, and so everything is connected. The question is who will come out on top today. Like, I think this was a very convincing game from Movistar Koi once they got it back. I think their drafts have been good, but these unforced errors, and I don't want to blame it all on unforced errors. My doubt about this game 3.
But you want to blame a lot of it on unforced errors, because let's be honest.
But that's also unfair because I feel like Team Secret Wales, right? You know, with moving the Caitlyn around, the top lane advantage, the way they turn the game around in game 1, you got to give them their credit, and I think that's what it comes down to, is you have to give them their respect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, these guys have good hands. They're playing out their matchups well. They're playing up their 2v2s well. They are a team to be respected. And the question is, can MKOI, you know, get it together in this third game, have a clean early game? Because I think if they can do that, they're going to take the series.
Emily?
Yeah,
Jack?
I agree. That's nice. I love my analysts agree with each other. I like it more when they get on a spat. But alas, let's see what they do on the Rift in this third game. If Movistar Koi can complete the comeback, or if Team Secret Wales take a huge scalp and live to fight another day.
TP coming behind from the Rise here. Crescent Guard super display. Tana coming out as well as Histo dives onto Alvaro.
นี่ช็อตนี้ครับช็อตจบเกม
anyone a 3-man petrifying gaze as Jojo begins to turn on the
ราคายก 3 งูอันติ 3
in their favor as Tana begins to walk away with that phase rush. Super having to flash out. Call of the Forge Rod coming out as well. Ace in the hole, not blocked. Super down. The sniper finds his man as Eddie gets 1. But Team Secret Wales have lost 2 in the fight. 3 so far, in fact, as we see.
แต่เคลียร์หน้านี่วิลเลจเยอะนะเล่นจังเกิลนะ ทีมงานเยอะจังถ้าสังเกตนะครับทีมไหนทีมงานเยอะนี่โอกาสชนะเยอะตลอดเลย
The greatest players in the world are here.
They can just burn this one down. Oh my God, he forward by 9.
You are going to see them like you've never seen them before.
Rocket Will as the Arcane Storm doing so much work, and Gen G, they are just going to ace them.
ผมไปทำของกินแป๊บนึงได้ไหมคนดูเดี๋ยวมาได้ไหมดูจออะไรอ่ะ
Alright guys, I just landed in China. Let's go.
Play the local way. Pay your way.
Have you ever seen the Great Wall at night?
Play the local way. Pay your way.
เดี๋ยวมาแป๊บนึงแล้วกันครับทำของกินก่อน
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back to Worlds 2025, where both Team Secret Wales and MKOI stand on the precipice of being eliminated from Worlds. Game 1, MKOI got ahead and Team Secret Wales won. Game 2, Team Secret Wales got ahead and MKOI won. So I think what we know is be behind at 14 minutes and you're likely to win the game.
Follow the pattern, huh, Medic? Follow the numbers.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll have to see if it works out.
Data doesn't lie. Honestly, though, so much on this game. Of course, your entire year culminating here in a single game. So much pressure from both of these teams right now. Elimination either way. One of these teams is going home. One will get to continue their story here at Worlds 2025.
And I mean, for Team Secret Wales, they are the young upstarts coming through from Vietnam, and they would love to be able to be that upset once more here against MKOI. But for MKOI, this is kind of where they were hoping to show their stuff, show what they were capable of. But it hasn't been their tournament thus far at 2020 Worlds 2025. And now, coming into the picks and bans, already we're seeing target bans towards JoJo after a great performance in game number 2.
Importantly, Hero is in for Team Secret Wales, replacing Pun, much more of a carry player from the top lane as Hero. Expects the things like the Rumble, the Jace. Rumble already banned away by MKOI. We'll see with the Talia and Azir, the focus on JoJo alongside a pod beat taken away by Team Secret Wales, who elected to be on the blue side for this deciding game.
And we're getting really down there as far as the jungle champs as well. We know we've got Pantheon, Vi, Nocturne, all still available. With the Annie band, you're even going down to the tier of like Ahri in mid lane, Akali, Aurora. These types of champions here that, you know, really do benefit from one of those bursty AD junglers to go along with it. Personally, I would love to see a TSW Nocturne. You know, the Vietnam Nocturne. Nocturne is one of the most banned champs versus this team, and always does have that extra little bit of power at Worlds.
Especially if you start to see MKOI going towards this more dive-orientated composition, like things like the Vi coming through for Elyoya in that jungle, having that disruption. If you've got a Kai'Sa that's trying to follow up, or activities for JoJo Pyun that he wants to get involved in, it can make things a little bit more difficult there. So already though, Rel taken here, trying to secure
เอาดีๆนะบอสแบบนี้ได้ครับ
remaining engaged champions,
มีส่วนแบ่งใช่ไหม
Nautilus, the two that remain.
ถ้ามีส่วนแบ่งแม่นอยู่
Rakan, Alistar, and Braum are all out from Fearless. I do actually like it, investing in that really early to get that big AoE engage. And so pick up those AD junglers to pair with Aurora. Any of the ones that we did mention. We didn't mention an Ivern though.
Yeah, I don't think he counts as the traditional AD jungler.
No.
Looks like Team Secret Wales are going to move more towards that engage with the Vi. I love the Rel first pick or early pick here by MKOI, just because when Alvaro is on something he is comfortable with, where he can initiate, MKOI thrive, and that is exactly what they're giving him.
There is also the opportunity to swap this Aurora to the top lane. Hero has played one game of it in the past and does do relatively well into the Cassante, can look to bully it out in the early stages and still open up for Dire to have a good counter matchup if you decide to go for it. But there's that Vi Kai'Sa that we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. The dive comp here, and Kai'Sa, one of Eddie's specialties. With the Vi Aurora, it's straightforward. You're looking at dive. So MKOI, what kind of counter to dive can you draft? Lissandra certainly is
มี
one
ใครสามี
piece.
วายว่ะ
Has she been found?
กูดพิกนะ
No. But I
that's
love
the whole story,
Lissandra.
Medic.
Yeah. Oh, my mistake. I do like the Lissandra for JoJo. We have seen him bring it out already in the LEC, but instead desire to avoid some of that engage.
โอ้แต่ว่าซาย่าชนะนะวายกับใครสัก
Yeah. The counter engage that we're
อันนี้
looking
ก็กูด
for,
พิกเหมือนกัน
the safety there, the most classic matchup I feel like that we have historically in competitive League of Legends, the Kai'Sa versus the Xayah.
And now I believe you're just going to ban away anything that's good for into the Cassante for MKOI. Things like that Gwen can still be shifted, unless you are just assuming that Aurora is going to be moved up into that top side of the map. Could even look to ban away things like the Nautilus or the Leona if you really want. But yeah, I think just top lane matchup is going to be a good call. Make sure Mirwan's comfortable. And Mirwan has had fantastic performances on this.
คือเวียดนามเนี่ยถ้าเปลี่ยนมิดอะโหดเลยทีมเนี้ย
get going and have a good matchup. And I think that's what MKOI will be relying on once more.
Yeah, some
ผล
exciting
ก็โหด
low health
ป่าก็โหด
2v1 opportunities maybe in his future. Meanwhile, as you say, expecting to continue to chop down on JoJo's champ pool here. Okay, the Victor is the one of choice as mid lane is really getting down there.
Bard banned away from Taki by MKOI. I'm looking like you've got jungle and mid left for MKOI, and We are really beginning to pinch that ball quite a lot. The Victor band away.
เป็น G4 เหรอ G4
Koi, like you pick their mid laner here, expecting that Aurora to go mid. You could, of course, go for jungle.
G4 ยังแพ้นี่อยู่เลย
option, and it will be locked in for Elioya. Once the weight of the game on his shoulders to a degree. We saw it in the Kiana game. We now see it with the Neferi. Need to get ahead in the early game. Need to get the ball rolling. And it did work for MKOI when they started to get towards those team fights.
Also just another one that has that invulnerability. Keep himself safe from being a potential dive pick from this buy and this Kaisa. But as you say, you need to be that damage threat fight. Need to get the ball rolling. So I do like that we're seeing this last pick coming through for MKOI so they can make sure that Jojo is comfortable and being able to enable this Neferi in the jungle.
Exactly. I always love it into the vibe, because of the W for Neferi. And there you go, Medic. You were talking about the Jace early on. We do get the Jace coming through as well for their side.
The Jace does feel a little at odds with the rest of the composition though, because I traditionally would look more towards, hey, we want Poke and Ezreal and these kind of things. Whereas when I'm looking at Team Secret Wells, it is much more dive. So I'm curious if it is just a case of, hey, get some early goal in towards Hero, leave him as a split pusher that we don't really want to get involved in fights, and play through a strong 4v4 where it's Cassante struggling to answer for the Jace on the side.
Leona locked in for Team Secret Wales to round out their comp, gives them a bit of a long-range engage, which they'll definitely
พี่บอสเก่งสุดใน BKT ขอบคุณครับ
Neferi's invulnerabilities out that core of the pack. She has to eviscerate
พี่ดัดวอลลุ่มมาเหรอใช่ครับ
the LeBlanc, but it's going to be Ari for Jojo Pion, something he's so
ดัดผมมา
experienced on.
Yeah, that's what we were mentioning, because the ult buff on the patch as
แห้ง
well.
หรือน้ำ
Maybe
น้ำครับ แล้วก็กิน
thinking
กับ
of
น้ำ
seeing
ส้
a
ม
little bit more of it, but as we get into the Fearless matches, we really get to it, and now you're going to be able to see
ถ้าดูจากดามนะครับ
on one of the champions that he
ซ้ายค่อนข้างจะโหดมากเลยว่ะ
And also just so incredibly strong in enabling these ganks towards the mid lane, trying to shut down the Aurora in the early stages and get Elioya rolling. And this has kind of been the story of, hey, Alvaro working with Elioya, playing towards that mid lane for so long in the LEC. Now they have to see if they can do it against Team Super Wales, but his toe has been fantastic.
แต่ผมไม่ชอบตรงเจส คือเจสเนี่ยมันเป็นดาบสองคม คือถ้าเล่นเก่งมากเกมนี้คุ้มแต่ถ้าเล่นไม่เก่งเกมนี้แพ้เลย
Here we are, do or die for Team Secret Wales and for MKOI. Elimination
แต่
or
น่าจะเอ็มต่อย
elation.
ว่ะผมว่ามันมีจังหวะมั่วเยอะอันนี้เดี๋ยวมันชามเดี๋ยวมันไหล
It's all down to those 10 players loading into Summoner's Rift to see who goes through to 2-2.
ผมว่าถ้าทีมแน่นๆน่ะดับซ้ายนี่กินขาดเลยนะแต่ดูเวียดนามมันก็ไม่ได้แน่นขนาดนั้นนะ
For MKOI, it's all about vengeance.
ผมว่าน่าจะขวา
3 times in a row they have lost to an LCP
ก่อย
team
เก่งกว่า
at
ด้วย
internationals. PSG, GAM, CFO have all defeated them. Now
ไอ้บอสมึงไปซื้อวิกใหม่มาใส่กูเบื่อหัวฮามอยก็บอกแล้วว่า
just the flying oysters.
300เปลี่ยนทรงผม
that they wanted to play against CFO, they wanted to right some of the wrongs from MSI, but the fact that here against Team Secret Wales they may not even get past the finish line, I think would be incredibly disappointing for the fans, for the organization, for the players. And now they have to see if they can find that moment in Game 3 to bring them just one more day alive.
Breaking some of the tension here with some friendly emo game.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. And the elimination game for each of them, still feeling very good.
I feel like there's an initiation ceremony for top laners that no one else knows about, where they go in, it's like, okay, this is where you go, and this is how much you can emote, and at this exact time you have to leave, and that's the rules, okay?
Unless you're Broken Blade against Mirwin, where you use that, and then 5 members come out of a bush and kill you. Yeah.
The little bait and switch, you know?
No such dirty tactics in this game, though. We've got honorable top laners this time around.
Daya will get the ward across the wall here onto those Razor Beaks. Foxfire out of Jojo Pion. Both of them
ต้นใครโหดกว่าเหรอ
that's electrocute, but Daya on the right side of the trace. Jojo already has popped a potion.
Yeah,
ต้นใครโหดใช่ไหม
most played champion of his career of
ก็ต้องซ้ายอยู่แล้วดิมีเจสอะ
here.
เจสต้นเกมมันเวอร์
Clutch match. See if that ends up being a deciding factor. Jungler starting on opposite sides here, so we do have his toe pathing towards
เกมนี้วินคอนของเอ็มก่อยก็คือซาย่าไม่พัง
isolated matchup up there
เลดเกมไปยิงยับหมดเลยหลบลิ้วหน้าหลบวายได้1-1ไคสะได้
They really do need their bottom lane to be in good condition.
เจสไหวไหมก็อย่างที่ผมบอกอะมันเป็นดาบสองคมคือถ้าเล่นเก่งอะเจสแม่งตัวโกงแต่ถ้าเล่นไม่เก่งก็ตายง่ายเจสนี่คือผู้เล่นล้วนๆตัวมัน
Of course, Elyoya wants, Supo wants this Xayah to be multiple items here to be able to really carry this game. So far this series, it has not been the best for Supo.
แล้วมันเก่งไหมเจสเวียดนามน่าจะเก่งนะ
him to do some work in this game, this final deciding one.
แต่พอเก่งไปต้นเกมก็ต้องลุ้นอีกทีมอย่ามั่วทีมมั่วปุ๊บเจสก็ไม่ค่อยโหดเจสมันต้องทีมเป็นระบบไล่โซนไล่แบบหาความได้เปรียบให้ป่าอะไรพวกนี้ตัวมันแต่ผมว่ามิดเวียดนามมันอ่อนไปว่ะต่อให้เลือกเจสมาได้ไพโอบนก็เดี๋ยวไอ้โจโจ้นี่มันก็เติมไม่ค่อยดี
You have Solar Player to follow up, and you just don't get an opportunity to move as you dive in towards that back line. Hero with a slight lead over Mirwin on the top side, as to be expected in the ranged into melee matchup, using that ranged form to get the grasp stacks off.
เนี่ยมันหาไพโอให้ป่าใช่ป่ะแล้วป่าก็มาไดฟ์อะไรพวกเนี้ย
Should both just take their own scuttle grabs.
ตัวมันเจ๋งอยู่ครับเจนอะผมเห็นนะมีเล่นแบบเวอร์ก็ซุดอะสวยนะวายมาเจนไม่แฟดอ่ะ
Smacks in between his and Topos. Histo will get one in response. In the end, Team Secret Wales will be happy with the extra assist goal.
And he puts up the emo at
ถ้าเจนแฟดตะกี้
the
ได้ฟรี
end.
เลย
I hate junglers. he gets his solo kill first though before the arrival of the jungler. In the end, of course, the extra assist on the kill does mean the extra 50% gold for the team. But Merwin here on his Cassante, you were talking about it already.
And the fact that you managed to get the early chain best is so nice because it's a tier purchase and some boots on the opposite side. Not really something that will try and push the lane forward, but it's a really nice job. I'm assuming jump to the minion that had gone forward and then uses that W to make sure they can get the through. But Mirwin, he already got the job done. Really nicely played.
I actually really like using the Pathmaker instead of the Q3 there. It feels like the anticipation from Hero is I will look for the Q3 animation and then flash. But as soon as Pathmaker comes out, it's much more tricky to dodge away. As Dyer hits the weirding onto Jojo, but with the way pushed in, Jojo should just be able to get a recall off. Has gone for an early Ruby Crystal. We'll see where that build ends up going on the Ari. And Hero still winning out the trades on top side.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he'd try and go for the early Brabble Vest, to be honest, just because it is nice into some of these matches where at least you're able to trade back effectively when you are getting auto attack down, some damage is going back. But the early chain vest is still incredibly nice. Again, you scale so well with resistances on Cassante, plus the fact you're just not going to get hit for as much. It's going to be nice, although Mirren is struggling a little bit as he gets back to late.
Yeah, we'll see once again because both junglers, again, re-clearing to opposite sides of the map. So the pressure is always going to remain. Jace just teleports right back up there. After the deaths, kind of shrugs it off, gets back to pushing, back to harassing you. Meanwhile, is going to be traded for the pressure on the other side. Ooh, had to use the smite at the end. Stings a little bit, but not the biggest issue here, and we're still going to get the return.
Mirwin is level 6, has his flash, as does Hero, both of them holding on to it from that first fight. Histo looking for the flank position. Shock Blast going to hit onto this Cassante. Histo going in. Mirwin forces him away. Vault Breaker out with the plate over to Hero as Mkoi secure the Drake.
It's a nice play from Histo, even if he doesn't get the kill, as you say, just putting that pressure down, keeping Hero safe and trying to abuse the matchup in its entirety, even getting this Cuddle Crab on that top side, but bot lane.
The dive in with the Zenith Blade. Blade Caller coming out from Super to get the root onto Eddie. Heal was used by Taki in exchange for the cleanse from Super. Taki still looking for a little bit more here as he goes forward with the Oracle, just forcing Super and Alvaro away. Meanwhile, on the top side, Dyer looking for the dive. Another Zenith Blade onto Alvaro, but Elyoya's on his way. Doesn't have the 6 yet. Alvaro flashing away. Cleanse flash out by Taki, but the dive in with the Eviscerate. Meanwhile, on the top side, Histo and Dyer look for more. Taki low gets away. No! Elyoya gets him in the end. Super just surviving. Mirwin down to 300 HP as the dive materializes for Team Secret Wales. Mirwin looking for that all out. Pops the Pathmaker into the Vault Breaker. Hero flashes in. Will tank 2 tower shots though. And he's slain by the tower. Mirwin unable to proc An auto on him means that Team Secret Wales get out with a kill and not giving up any gold to Mirwin.
Yeah, no one else was taking right there. And in the end, it is answered on the other side. This is the kind of fun that you get when you have opposite side jungle paths. We did have JoJo stay mid though, so the Ahri passively wins out by staying mid and pushing. His tempo is a little bit messed up there with the interrupt on the recall, but he did get the guaranteed push of the extra minion wave of the tower plate in mid too.
But that's why I was kind of surprised to see Eddie and Taki go for the fight on bot side. They were going for the dive on top, knew they were on the weak side, but still wanted to take the trade. And then as a result, they end up giving that kill across. So it could have been a bigger win for Team Secret Wales if the bot lane had just kind of played it passively.
Yeah, hey, Supa barely living too there on the edge.
Mirwin going all out. Hero doesn't have flash, and Mirwin's just going to chase him down with the Topos. Gets it after the Q3. Zennyplay from Taki missing towards that top side. Mirwin very happy in this 1v1.
Yeah, Merwin says, welcome to the series, Hero. Puts him down again on the Cassante. And that is going to be pretty big repercussions because there's no teleport for TSW to answer that. So Merwin gets to push the full wave into the tower on bottom side.
And this is why this man is so terrifying on this pick. He consistently seems to be able to find these moments where he can find the solo kill, get massive tempo leads for himself, and open up windows crucially for MKOI to find success in side lanes, even after he's just gone down. And now Histo, happy that he's able to pick up at least one, or sorry, two of those quick.
เจ๊มันไม่ขึงเลยมันสเต็ปดีนะแต่มันไม่ค่อยแบบลั่นเท่าไหร่อะ
Try and steal away as much of this jungle as possible. There is a red buff if he can get any deeper, but Histo comes across, and with that last scrub being left
กี่เปอร์เซ็นต์แล้วบอสแบบนี้โอ้โหก็ซ้ายตัวต้นเกมเยอะอยู่อะขวาเล่นง่ายด้วยมีคิวเซนเต้
Dyer saw Elyoya, and so they had vision on him, and Dyer was trying to keep him there, but Nefiri is pretty slippery, so Elyoya is able to get out.
ชนแก้วไม่บอสโอ้โหไม่มีแก้วเลยตอนเนี้ยอ๋อมีแก้วนี้อยู่ชนแก้วครับ
Shattering Strike, Solar Flare, Featherstorm still available for Super, doesn't use it yet. Still looking for that dive. Alvaro down to about 2/3 HP, and as soon as the ward comes across the wall, Histo backs away.
Super not really budging there at all, doesn't use the Featherstorm, the flash either to get away, knows that it's only going to be the slow that hits, and that was the reason they didn't go for the bot lane.
Hero stepping forward, doesn't have the flash. Elioya's on the chase. Darking Daggers don't connect, and he doesn't want to go in with that Hound's pursuit.
Yeah, wave is still in a terrible spot for Hero. Looks like Cassante is just going to delete the wave anyways, though, as Histo will now return to the work that he started earlier.
มันอยู่ที่สกิลช็อตอะ
Nice interrupt there from Alvaro onto the reset from the Kaisa. Actually interrupts it again, so Eddie going to be very late on the reset. Dragon in 55 seconds, and I think that should give that push now on the bot lane to Supa, so then you can actually transition over first towards that Dragon.
For the moment, Alvaro just getting a little bit of vision around this blue buff. Red buff still available for Histo, who has been stealing away as much of Elyoya's jungle as possible. You can actually see Histo has 4 camps up, and Elyoya only has 1. It's only his walls right now. As Histo will be able to get on a little bit of a lead. Next Drake up in 30 seconds time. We'll see if MKOI want to force
the ganking bottom.
There's a gank happening bot side. Featherstorm still available for Super here. But the flank from Taki, cleanse immediately. There's the exhaust going down now. Elyoya and Alvaro on their way across. Super uses the Featherstorm. Does have to burn his cleanse and that ultimate to get out.
That Featherstorm was perfect though. The Zenith blade and the immediate ult was coming from Taki, and the fact that you managed to just barely dodge both is the only reason Super was able to escape away from those.
Yeah, no Kaisa ult and no Leona ult now on the side of TSW, and the Dragon just spawned.
พี่วอร์มแข่งเหมือนเฟกเกอร์ไหมหรือไม่ต้องผมหรอ
does have the full Sojin gun, so nice power spike there for the Nefiri. This really does boost the champion's damage here. The second Q especially with the execution damage.
จะชนะจะแพ้ผมรู้ล่วงหน้าเลย
right back out towards the Dragon side of the map.
Kind of feel the tension
คือมันอยู่ที่ผลการซ้อมอะถ้าซ้อมมาแบบดีก็จะชนะ
in 11 minutes, basically halved from the speed that we were playing in game 1. You both know their tournament lives on the line as Elyoya will start up this Cloud Drake. They're pushing it, and the wave has already been cleared out, so it should be an easy enough Dragon here for MKOI. Will be their second of the game.
It's Mirwin who needs to be careful though. This entire series, Team Secret Wales has been so good with the cross maps, but Mirwin backing right the way off, making sure he's not going to be under any threat on that top side. And it will be MKOI able to pick up the objective with no real answer from Team Secret Wales.
Okay, a lot of pings going down on this Xayah that has no ult, no cleanse at the moment, but I think Supa should be safe either way. And he gets a little nervous, has no vision around him, so backs off and pays respect, goes for his reset, no problem.
Has to do it now. Without the Featherstorm, without the cleanse, you need to just be that little bit more cautious. As Alvaro putting a bit of vision towards the top side. We'll spot Histo jumping across the wall here. Alvaro could look for an engage into Shadowing Strike, and he'll use it. Flash Shadowing Strike into the charm. Cease and desist used perfectly to buffer out of that charm. Ball breaker out as well. Perfectly played by Histo, but there still might be too many MKOI members surrounding him and getting the kill. TP in by Taki, no mana at the moment on Jojo. Accelerating shot blast coming out from Hero as they go in with a Hound's Pursuit. And now this Jace is in the middle of MKOI. Alvaro using that Magnustorm into a great crash down, but Dire's here to bolster the defenses. Super coming across from the side. Alvaro falling low, will be taken out by a Weirding. Hero able to escape. Taki going back in with the Zenith Blade. Super flashing forward with the Blade Caller, but now the rest of his team are nowhere to be found. Team Secret Wales find two.
Eddie arrives and he collects the extra money. The Kraken Slayer was just done on the Kai'Sa. That Kai'Sa as well, after driving by, grabbing the kill, as Jojo lands another charm, by the way, hitting all three charms, although the first one was a really nice buffer from his toe. Regardless, though, the Kai'Sa coming in at the end and collecting a lot of money is very good prospects for TSW, with them being a very dive-oriented composition with at least 4 of the members.
And it looked like maybe MKOI would be able to play this one out. They managed to get Histo, but as Kobe said, the buffer was perfect. They chased down Histo, and then at this stage they realized, hang on, no, we need to try and back away. We don't have the members in the position that we want to, especially Hero coming down, but watch the charm. Interrupts the crash down from Hero, and Alvaro and this Kai'Sa has ran the entire way from bot lane, whereas you've got the Cassandra so more members of Team Secret Wales jumping in the mid lane.
Jojo caught out, doesn't have the flash, no Spirit Rush for him either, and Eddie gets his second. Alvaro off to the side here will be able to crash down away from it, but now Eddie 900 gold ahead of his opposite man.
Eddie, I swear this guy is the hope for TSW every single game, and it's going to be no different this time around on the Kai'Sa. Now 2 kills to his name.
Team Secret Wales now 1.3
seconds
on the Herald. He's already completed his redemption, whereas Alvaro does not have that tool in his arsenal. So MKOI much more likely to play down towards this bottom side, give up the top side pressure, and you can see Elioyo coming across. There's the TP in, redemption already onto Hero. Hound's Pursuit coming down as well as Mirwin looks for the Q3, but Hero's topped up by that redemption, still taken out by Jojo, who came in with that teleport. Dire here to try and defend the tower and will manage to do so. Dire jumping forward, will just back away.
There's so many members of MKOI here though, they're still trying to fish. Dire needs to be a little bit careful. Jojo's starting to step forward, but it looks like they will just back away. Is Histo able to get the Rift Herald?
Yeah, once again, TSW still with the gold lead, but stacking dragons for MKOI, and they are making a couple of pick plays for themselves. You see in the aftermath as well, important to lay behind the super deep warding. Right now, Alvaro is lighting up this red quadrant of the jungle as the second red buff is going to spawn. And we're only a minute and 30 seconds away from the dragon, so already preemptively laying the groundwork to continue the dragon stacking for MKOI.
Already have 2 then.
Hey, MKOI,
Feats of Warfare claimed, a feat of strength claimed by either team as of yet. 2 objectives to 1. First 3 kills were hit by MKOI, so either the next objective or the tower for MKOI will be enough.
I am curious how aggressive MKOI want to get at this next dragon though. Rod of Ages only just completed, a single stack for Jojo. Your Nefiri isn't really hitting on all cylinders at this stage, and same with Xayah. She really wants some sort of attack speed item before she commits to any sort of fights. I think the power spikes here on Team Secret Wales off of a singular item are just significantly stronger. So I like MKOI trying to play away from the objective, look to get gold in their favor and see if they can find picks rather than going toe-to-toe in the team fights.
Smart play from Hero just to back away from that tower. Knew that Alvaro was in the area, could kind of expect that Elioyo was in the area. Team Secret Wales should be able to take the first tower. No wave here for MKOI. Means that TSW will get that first turret on the board.
Okay, it's going to come down to the last objective then.
Next Drake, 20 seconds away. And at the moment, MKOI not in the position to really fight around it. You can see MKOI trying to deny as many of these minions as possible by letting the towers hit them before they are felled by Jojo in the end. Now Jojo doesn't have his teleport, nor does Mirwin. No TPs on the side of TSW either, but at the moment they're the ones with more players towards the dragon side of the map.
They also have the Rift Herald. I think Team Secret Wells again. One out of Spike's much stronger position on the map was in a much better position. So MKOI happy to just call it and say we won't take this fight. Instead, we'll look to push in, put some pressure onto this topside jungle, some pressure onto the tier 2, and if Team Secret Wells over-index into protecting the tier 2, we can always fall back and try and take this victory.
Yeah, they're kind of fishing around the jungle as well. Taki here, pretty tanky on Leona, trying to deny like big cross-map play. MKOI in the end get a couple of jungle camps.
Shadowing strike immediately. They dive onto Taki, and the Eclipse is not enough to save him. The redemption not down in time. He does land the solar flare. Spirit Rush dive in with the killing streak from Eddie as well, but Elioya's on the chase, trying to take down that castle. Kai'Sa and the Darking Daggers will be enough. The Hounds of Hell from Elioya for the double. MKOI collapse.
Alvaro consistently interrupted the follow-up from Team Secret Wales as the pick on Taki that might have just blown this game open in favor of MKOI.
Huge error from TSW. Why did they dive in on that after Taki got caught by ultimate and Kai'Sa ultimate? You saw Eddie immediately regretted it. He flashes out afterwards. But MKOI get even more than they wanted out of this. They steal the blue buff, get their kill on the Leona, and then here, you know, he ults in. Immediately Eddie tries to flash away, but Elioya is on him.
And it's the veteran of Team Secret Wales that is caught. The man who's been leading this group of youngsters to this international stage that may have just cost them, as now once more stepping up towards Mirwin, just wants to try and get some vision back. And MKOI, they're looking for more picks.
Trying to catch our hero who's not had a great game. Shadowing strike, the stun coming down there from Alvaro with the Shadowing Strike. Crash down as well. Hero forced down to about a third HP as Jojo should be able to gain control over this wave. 4 stacks on Horizon Focus completed. 2 items now on Eddie though, who is only 300 gold behind his opposite man. Eddie, really where you hang your hat now if you're Team Secret Wales, it feels.
Especially because even though you don't get the kill, forcing the reset here from Hero means that you can put pressure on the spot lane turret and deny Histo from actually using his Rift Herald. It is still sitting in his back pocket. Hasn't found a good timing window to put it down yet.
MKOI, they just control the map now. I mean, applying pressure in both side lanes and the safety to control mid, since there's no tower there for TSW already. Feels like they can just complete the circle, grab your last adder tower, further increase this gold lead on Jojo's Ahri, and really put the threat of further picks onto TSW. Get right back on track for that dragon stacking, only 2.5 minutes away from the arrival of the mountain.
MKOI will be very happy with where the gold has landed for them as a team. Elioya being 3-0-2, Black Cleaver, Spear complete, Jojo being ahead as well. Is still going to start up this Artican. You can see Dyer looking for a little bit of a flank as he moves towards Secret Wales will be forced off the objective for now.
It's a bluff, it feels like, from Secret Wales, wanting to get Jojo Pyun to TP, maybe use some of that pressure of the elimination game to force errors from MKOI. There is the Rift Herald though, and not really many members on this top side for MKOI, so it looks like he should be able to get this top lane turners.
Try and charge in towards it. Can use it as an escape tool as well. Riftherald will be able to get that charge in. Mirwin here to defend, but he can't do anything about Riftherald actually managing to take down that tower. Team Secret Wales, they use it, they get gold out of it. Obviously would have liked the mid lane tower a little bit more, but you got to take what you can get when you are 3k gold behind.
They were also pinging the wards that they knew were in their own jungle, having seen Jojo Pyun just reset, so I think a little bit wary of a potential TP flank from the Ahri, and happy enough to just get some of that gold and not, as you say, overextend and maybe throw that game away.
And Jojo, with this tanky build, you know, the early rod stacking up, yeah, but also the mid game, just Verdant Barrier by itself as a little component provides so much value versus a team that has Vi and Leona on it. Very, very high value spells to block with that thing. So Jojo, not only is he rich on his most played champion of his career, but he's also in a very, very good spot itemized here to make some aggressive picks and position pretty deep into the jungle. You see MKOI right now trying to move up a little bit into the defensive vision that TSW have set.
Sneaking forward here with that Oracles will deny any knowledge of where he is. Histo's going to go on towards the Wolves. Team Secret Wales as a 3-man squad defending their own jungle. Alvaro looking for something here as Alio backs away. His dogs will take that shot blast. Jojo looking for a flank as well onto Eddie. You get that cleanse out of him before a fight begins. Be very happy, but with no pressure, Bot Hero moves across and covers his AD carry.
We're starting to see the work that MKOI put in over the course of summer coming to fruition, playing through that 1-3-1 with moving Jojo back and forth between these
เมื่อก่อนพวกเวียดนามโดนพี่ตบเป็นลูกเลย
slow patient game from
แต่
MKOI.
เวียดนามประเทศเขานี่ไง
We'll have to see if Team Secret Wales can
จริง
find a
จั
way
ง
to
อ่ะ
break this dire hovering just out
มัน
of
มี
vision.
หน้าใหม่ๆขึ้นมาเรื่อย
Yeah, man, it is crazy hard because you're like, all right, we're a dive comp. Should we go for Nefiri?
ๆเวียดนามก็เหมือนไทย
All
อ่ะ
right,
ผมว่า
let's not go for Nefiri. That
เหมือน
one's
คนไทย
hard.
เล
Should
ย
we go for Ari? Well, she has a spell shield and ultimate ready. Okay, should we go for Zaya? Well, Zaya has cleanse splash and ult. So
Oh, you're saying Cassante?
yeah. This like, what target do you dive with this dive comp? I think MKOI just they have just set themselves up with all of the answers here to TSW, and so good job getting their Dragon Soul point there. TSW are forced into this kind of like desperate, I feel like, Otacon pull.
Yeah, that's what they're going to go for, and MKOI actually pushing Dia
ทำไมเดี๋ยวนี้เวียดนามมันโหดกว่า
jungle. The Otacon already down to 8,000 HP as MKOI
โอ้
look
เขามีหลีกเป็นของตัวเองอ่ะเขาคนเล่นเยอะครับ
Mirwin
เรื่อง
on
ปก
the
ติ
flank. Redemption coming down. Alvaro with a 3-man
อุ้ย
Magnet
ได้
Storm
นี่ด้วย
and
อั
a
ตคา
super
จี
takes
จี
the Otacon. Hop goes the Divine, and the rest of his team follows suit. MKOI looking for vengeance against the LCP as they take down 4. Dia unallowed to escape. It's an ace for MKOI.
Movistar Koi will keep their world's dreams alive as they march down the mid towards the base of Team Secret Wales.
They got a bunch of Otacon flowers, and they will put those flowers at the graves of TSW. Triple stun
แล้วไทยไม่จริงจังเหรอ ไทยเหรอ
from Alvaro.
ไทยไม่ค่อยจริงจังนะพี่ว่า
Alvaro has been so crucial to MKOI when it comes to these team fights, when it comes to the engages all year long, and once again, he is stepping up for MKOI on the international stage, pushing Team Secret Wales back.
Don't care about Otacon, play for fights.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, get them
Didn't care
both.
about Otacon as actually we see a catch coming out, all out going out from Mirwin. He looks to escape Taki and hits though. Hero coming in as well. Mirwin, very tanky. You can see the damage from Super in that last fight. I will say, it's easy enough to pull the feathers back through everyone when they're CC'd for a year and a half. Credit to Alvaro, he's the one that set it up.
Yeah, Q flash crash down.
I mean, when he's doing 2.5k damage in the fight in his own right, I think it's pretty good.
Redemption bolstering up those numbers. the aggro Redemption. Jojo with the charm onto Dia. Should be able to jump out of this. We'll go across the veil, try to get back towards his tower, but the tower isn't even safe as Jojo just dives in and Dia dies.
Yeah, that's about all you need to say for that one. Right in his face, just destroys him
บอส
under
ใครสาวเวทกายภาพเลือกจากอะไร
They were already up
ก็เลือกจาก
against
ตัว
the
แท้ง
wall.
อี
They
กฝ่าย
were
อ่ะ
already desperate with the
ตัวแท้ง
last
อีกฝ่ายเป็น
play.
อะไรอ่ะ
Now even
การ
more
เวทก็
so
เล่น AD
trying
การ AD ก็
to
เล่น
just
เวท
go out fighting.
That's 2.5 minutes until that's all they need is
Flash forward into the cease and desist, and they find Super! A perfect play by Team Secret Wales in the mid lane. Go down fighting, you say. They're not sure about the go down part yet, Kobe.
Well, they need Baron to go down if they hope to hold on to this, and they need to start it up immediately. You can see everyone in MKOI is running as quick as they can to try and answer for the play.
Baron begun by Team Secret Wales. MKOI looking to collapse. Dia still in base, doesn't have TP. He's running as fast as his legs can carry him to join his team. Currently a 4v4 as Alvaro looks for the flank position. Elioya going in with the Darking Daggers. Dia trying to flank from the bottom side of the fight. Alvaro's here. Crash down, Magnusol finds 2, hand pursuit in. Elioya's already killed off the enemy jungler, and Eddie is next on the menu. These hounds are hungry, and the pursuit goes on to Taki.
GG.
A triple for Elioya.
The captain of MKOI picks up the triple kill on the back of it, and MKOI, despite losing Super, will hold on to the fight and take the Baron for themselves.
All right, MKOI looking like they are going to survive here at Worlds and wrap up this series. Dyer and Jojo once again as Dyer is forced to flee.
MKOI now 8,000 gold ahead. They will secure the Baron. They have 2 waves pushing in. But Team Secret Wales, the shot is another catch. It's another pick onto Super. It's another great engage from Hitsto.
And that's what people love about this team. They never just sit back and lose. They're always going to look to still make the aggressive play. And the flash from Hitsto to reduce the amount of time that Super had to react to that was great. Then, of course, you're still in a tough situation.
ขอให้ได้นะครับขอให้ได้ขอให้โดนนะ
Coming in from Team Secret Wales. Hitsto still looking for that cease and desist. Volt breaker
อัน
forward.
หนึ่ง
The
เลยอ่ะ
charm will stop in TP behind as well by Mirwin. Jojo Pyun's going to be the first target. Solar Flare's going to follow up. Mirwin looking for that flank TP. Jojo will fall first. The shutdown goes over to Taki, but Elioya's on that backline once again. It's Hitsto and Taki trying to survive through Elioya. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Dyer just gets assassinated by Super and Mirwin. Taki trying to get away from Elioya, but he continues to chase forward with that call of the pack, and Taki's done for. Hero, full HP, wasn't really in this battle at all. MKOI will take 3, only losing their mid laner.
Team Secret Wales will find the Ari, but Jose Pyun has already done his job for MKOI. He has been fantastic all series long, and he bought enough time for MKOI to jump down to that bottom side, get the kills, and now it's mounting for an already beefy MKOI.
Another fight, another bunch of gold for MKOI, and they're going to lay destruction to the towers afterwards.
Mirwin diving in with the all out onto Hero, who's
นี่
just
ขนาดนอนมาแล้วนะเว้ย
deleted by the feathers. Super at that 3-item point on this Xayah. Hitsto trying to steal away everything he can, trying to get any gold in his back pockets.
นอนอะไรแยะโอ้โหผมนอนน้อย
12,000
มาก
gold advantage for MKOI as they push through the bot side.
They're going to continue to
แล้วบอก
keep
ไม่
up
ง่ว
this
ง
pressure. The split push
นั่น
is
ดิ
incredibly strong right now with this Baron buff, and Team Secret Wales
ก็
are
นอน
trying
มาแล้ว
to
นะ
I honestly don't know how
ตั้
they
ง
get
4
through
ชั่วโม
Mirwin
ง
at this stage.
Still going to jump onto Elioya, who does tank a couple of tower shots. He dives back in with that eviscerate, but with the minions pushing in, Mirwin pushing through the bot side, Jojo about to join the rest of his team, and with Baron buff remaining for the next 50 seconds, this Red Bull Baron power play may include a 50 gold Nexus.
MKOI about to lay final siege to the Nexus turrets, and here comes
GG.
the team.
Hitsto looking for that engage, the Magnus Sword from
ตอน
Alvaro
นี้
diving
เรีย
in,
บร้อย
Spirit Rush from Jojo just to escape. Hitsto down first. Taki the next target for MKOI. Super trading with Dyer, who just gets back to the fountain in time. Meanwhile, Eddie doing everything he can, but he just can't survive through the wallet dip. It's vengeance for MKOI. They take down the LCP and they go to 2-2.
แก่แล้วบอส
MKOI find themselves now 1 series away from being able to make it to playoffs. The smiles on their faces well earned because that was a tough series.
Elioya 10-0-8 on the Nefiri, ending the game deathless.
On a pick that has been up and down for him in the LEC. 4-3 on it all time, now 5-3 for MKOI. Melzet talked a lot about it this week. He said, look, I'm not going to give up. As their coach, even if Europe doubts us, I will be here until the bitter end, and I think that showed in their performance today as they take the bow. We're going to hand it back across towards the analyst desk to break down the series and say goodbye to Team Secret Wales.
Thank you very much. It is Movistar Koi who take their bow in front of the audience and live to fight
ทีนี้
another
อาเก
day.
โร่
But a
โจโจ้โห
hard-fought
ด
battle it was. We will of course also
เล่นบน
give
ก็
our
แล้วแต่
commiserations
ตัว
to Team Secret Wales. It's been a joy to watch them here at Worlds. I think they probably, of course, weren't very happy with their last game in particular, but they've definitely made us remember their names, and I'm looking forward to what they can show us in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they came into this series pretty much universally considered pretty big underdogs, made it a lot more competitive than people were expecting. Definitely had their opportunities. Gonna wish they had some of those fights back.
เดี๋ยวผม
Maybe
มา
change a little bit of decisions, but you can see
ตอน
the
เช้า
future is very
ไอ้
bright
ตอ
for
น
the
ตอ
youngest
น
team at
อีกสัก
Worlds.
4 ชั่วโม
I
ง
also feel like we saw what we expected from them, right? Where when they are able to punch
เอ้ยแล้วไหนอะส่วนแบ่งแจ็ค
when that team fighting doesn't necessarily go their way, sometimes
อุ๊ย
because of their decision to contest an objective or take a
คู่หน้า
fight
แม่น
that's not very
แบ่งให้อีกเหรอ
advantageous for them. So
อุ้ย
they
มีว่า
definitely
150
played
ว่ะ
and showed up
ขอบคุณ
kind
ครับ
of
แจ็ค
as expected. For me, so I kind of hope this team sticks together, because whenever you see a team that is this young, that has that much mechanical talent, it's always really cool to see them develop as a unit over time.
And again, it's like they already have mastered a lot of the unteachables. that is kind of like a dream team for a coach to work with. No, I mean that's like a serious thing.
You do
it's like,
have to. Like macro is the easier thing.
Exactly.
It's
a way easier thing to teach. You know, you can't teach necessarily the game sense and the mechanics. That's really, really difficult. I feel like they have that. I think this is a team that could be looking CFO-esque in a couple of years. Like I think that they have that potential to be able to build.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way about Movistar. I have to not. Hey, it was rough. Listen, it was rough. But when they mattered, or when it mattered, most rather when they had to bring it home in that game too.
The Canadian man.
เดี๋ยวผมตื่นมาไต่แรงแล้วกันคุณดูไม่ไหวว่ะ คู่หน้า Gen G 20 ครับ ผมให้ประมาณ 90% เลย Gen G 20
Yeah. I think all 3 games, it was absolute mid.
คู่หน้าต้องดูดาไหมไม่ต้องดูเลย
He was making big plays. He was winning out the 1v1s. He was rarely ever dying.
Gen G ดาไม่
I feel
ค่อย
like
พลาด
this is, you know, one of the best international performances we have seen from JoJo. When I think back to this team at MSI, to me it was kind of like Alvaro versus the world. Like he was the one that was shining. The rest of the team was really struggling to keep up. Here, I do feel like JoJo is the savior of the day. This is the guy that really stepped up, and I think is showing his class.
I also didn't necessarily believe in the Ari pick as much, but
งั้นผมไปนอนนะคุณดูนะ
showed me.
เดี๋ยว
And also it's a super
เดี๋ยวผม
comfortable
ตื่นมา
pick, right? Like when I think of
ไต่
like,
แรง
okay, his back is against the wall, it's going to be Azir or it's going to be Ari because he just feels like he can cover the map and team fight so much better on those.
ไม่ไหวว่ะร่างกายมันไม่ไหวว่ะ
Shout out to I think Mirwin had a great game on his Cassante that he loved.
Elio, yeah, fantastic.
Elio was great.
ร่างกายพี่มันไม่ไหวว่ะ
Very dependable. He was even a bright light for them when it wasn't
ขอบ
going
คุณ
well.
โดทุกบาทด้วยนะครับ
Last year
ที่โดให้นะครับทุกคนนะ
especially on that rel,
ตื่นมา
especially
ไต่
on
แร
that
งนะ
Nico specifically. I don't think Supa had the best series, but sometimes that happens and then your team just has to jump in for you because that's why you were in a team together. I think I saw some good things, but I'm pretty worried for them going forward, I gotta say, but we can ask that question to